Hey everybody, happy Friday. Here we are on the Sidetracks show.
Yeah. Sidetrack show's been proven more popular than even our regular show on Wednesday. Maybe because it's Friday. I don't know. But we get more super chats on this than anything. That's wild. Because it's just like, this is our open lines Friday, of course.
Yeah, like I said, this is just our chill out show where we don't have a topic.
Yeah, the beginning of the weekend's here. You can drink with us, and then we'll end up in a weekend.
That's inevitably. That's just kind of how it happens.
Shows up somehow. I don't really
unless
understand how
Earth
time works.
Unless Earth gets hit by an asteroid.
Yeah, time works in a certain way where it moves forward. I don't really get it.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'd like it to move backwards, but
I don't know if I would like that.
Depends.
I would like to be able to stop time sometimes.
Yeah.
I think most people would probably like that, especially if I wake up too early in the morning and can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then
just stop time.
You know that horrible feeling when you wake up too early and it's like too early to get up, but it's not early or it's not late enough to like go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's why whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm always like, please be 2 a.m., please be 2 a.m. Because then you can go back to sleep for like 4 hours or 5 hours or whatever. But it's like if you wake up and it's like only half an hour, so you had to get up and like, that sucks, man. And then that's when I would like to stop time.
Yeah. Because
then you can just sleep as long as you wanted. And then you'd get up and it'd still be early. Then you'd have like all this time. You know? I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so American Military says Hulu on Disney Plus is doing a new docuseries about Herb Baumeister called Return to Fox Hollow. Yeah, I saw that. The thing about it is that I saw that, and then I looked on Hulu and I was like, oh, we saw this already. And what I realized was that it's a whole docuseries, but they did a season 1, and we saw season 1. They've just put up episode 1 of season 2.
Oh, is
what it is.
Okay.
So we haven't seen the latest episode of that, but I was like looking at it going, it's got the white line on it. I'm like, we watched this. And then like when I was looking at some of the interviews and stuff, I was like, yeah, we've seen this.
I gotta turn that fan on.
Okay, but
the fan?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have hair blowing in my lipstick.
Man, it's just fucking hot.
It's not hot in here.
Hot. And then I got this shit here flicking out through all different colors.
Well, yeah, it's been doing that all day.
Hold on, let me get my remote.
It's not.
Go ahead.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. I mean, the one that's in here doesn't do anything. Yeah, Dak says, motherfucker hang out at the gay bar that was one of the Baumeister's hunting grounds down in Indy, an old timer saw him when he was there. Yeah. Like I said, I was really interested to see it because I saw it come up. I was watching Hulu for something else, and then I saw that come up, and I was like, "Ooh, look at that!" But then I was like, "Oh wait, we saw this," but we haven't seen the second part yet, so we will end up watching that. Oh, what are you doing? You're turning that off.
That's a different thing.
Well, yeah, but it's still turning it off though.
What the hell's going on here?
It's not working, dude. I'm telling you.
Wild shit.
It's been doing. Oh. You turn the ring light off. You turn the ring light off.
That's wild.
Just leave it. It's not worth the trouble.
Yeah, something's wrong.
You know what I mean? Like I made a video.
You hit that and it fucking popped up, and that wasn't even that's not even a remote.
It doesn't matter. Shit. Like you can just push.
That's some weird shit.
Because these are all separate. They're not even made by the same company or nothing like that. But it's just like the remotes just do random lights.
Yeah.
Like he'll turn on lights in the bedroom and this light will come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, whatever. They're like all on the same circuit, I guess. It's just kind of like, it's really, really annoying.
Wild shit, man.
It is. It's been doing that. Like I said, I made a video earlier today, and I made a video, I think the one that I posted a couple, like, when was the one that I posted that had, the last one I posted? I think that I just turned that light off, but I made a video today and I was like, oh, I'll just leave it on. The reason you can't really leave it on is because when the light flashes, like a lot of times it'll fuck with the autofocus. Yeah. But if you're kind of mostly blocking it, maybe that'll mitigate some of the issue.
I'm just gonna let that shit fucking flash because that's...
Yeah, I mean it's been doing it all day. I'm kind of it's kind of making me twitchy, but I'm sort of like
I'll get another one. I'll get another one. They're $15.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they're not much.
Yeah.
But yeah. Old Restless says, Tom, did you slim down a bit? Yeah, he did.
Quite a bit. I've lost 25 pounds of fat.
Yeah. We're both on. Look at this. He's already been at the biker bar, so he's already drunk. So that's why he's getting naked already.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he drank or what he did there or anything like that. He didn't.
They just give me free shit.
So
yeah, I only spent $20.
Lord knows how much.
I was able to ride out of there still.
Well, that's good. Yeah, he obviously got
they
home.
They just use me as a fucking what do you call it?
I don't know.
Like an advertisement.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you feel used?
No, not at all. I love it. I'll get up there and fucking dance and shit. Take your shirt off. I'm taking it off.
Did you take your shirt off?
No. No. Not that time. I took it off before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, figures. CB says, Jenny, I watched your review of Someone's Watching Me 1978. You did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. I got a couple comments about that when I posted it on Instagram. And it's a John Carpenter movie, but I kind of feel like most people I hadn't heard of it either, so I'm not like shaming anybody. But like I got a comment on Instagram, it's like, man, I never heard of this one. I'm like, yeah, I hadn't really heard of it either. Like I think I kind of remember hearing about it like a long time ago. It was made for TV, but it came out like right around the same time as Halloween, and it's actually pretty good. Like I quite liked it. You know what I mean? Adrienne Barbeau's in it, and it's pretty awesome.
Old Resta says shit's spooky. Man, some spooky shit happened last night. We'll talk about it later.
or whenever we talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that okay, so I went to sleep at, I don't remember what time it was, but it was 11ish or 11:30 or something like that. And then I woke up at like a little bit past 3 because I had to pee, which, you know what I mean, that's usually about the time that it happens. So I go to the bathroom and come back and get back in bed. Less than 5 minutes later, maybe it was only like 2 minutes. So I'm laying there trying to get back to sleep, and I hear, and I was like, the fuck was that? And I was like, I wasn't alarmed initially. It didn't sound like anybody it didn't sound like breaking glass or anybody like busting in the door or anything like that. What I initially thought it was it sounded like, you know that cabinet right there that's like under the sink? That's under the, like, Pookie can get in that. She can open it. There's no handle on it, but she can get her little paw underneath and she kind of pushes it open and like wiggles her way in there. And then she'll come out, like she'll hide in there and then she'll come out a little bit later and it goes bam. Like, so that I thought it was that. So like I got up and I come down the hall. I was like, well, maybe it's somebody broken in or like Jason is in here or something like that. So I'm kind of like creeping out of the bedroom, like seeing what it is. And then I see Pookie very sheepishly walking out of my office like do like that, and I'm like, what did you do? And so like I walk in here and she had knocked over, we have these ring lights that are like up on tripod kind of things, and we have a couple over there that like don't really work anymore, and I don't really have anywhere to put them, so they're just kind of over there in the corner, and she had knocked one of those over. And I guess she thought she was in trouble, because when I came out of the bedroom, I didn't say anything loud. I was just like, the fuck? Like, what the fuck was that noise? And like when I came out, I could see her like she like hunches down and like walks like someone's gonna hit her. It's like pretty fucking funny. But like I was just like, it's fine, you didn't break anything. But I was like, well, that explains what that noise was. But yeah. So let's see. CB said, is that a shadow or is Tom's public hair? Do you mean pubic hair? I'm not really
thinking about a dude's fucking dick and shit.
Well, thinking about dick. Well, you're the one taking your shirt off already.
I just took my shirt off. I'm thirst trapping these faggots.
That's not nice. Let me see. Herb Baumeister was a diagnosed but untreated paranoid schizophrenic. His father was a prominent physician, and I think he wanted to keep Herb quiet. Yeah, I mean, that's probably. But yeah, like when I found out that show on Hulu was like, this is actually the second season, but they're not putting all of the episodes up at the same time because only one episode was that. You know what I mean? Let me see. Camp Guy said, I wish I could get another big dog. I was watching those videos of people feeding their big dogs on YouTube.
A big dog's a motorcycle.
No, it's a big dog.
Okay.
We want to travel some in our retirement, so we're not planning to get another dog anytime soon. Yeah, they are kind of like a lot of hassle. I'm more a cat person than a dog person. I like dogs too, but they seem a lot more work. I mean, cats are a lot of work. I think people think that cats are a lot more low maintenance than they are, depending on what kind of cat you have. But I definitely think dogs are way more maintenance because you got to take them like outside to poop and all that other kind of stuff. Whereas kitties,
It's like having a person.
yeah, it is, and it's just like that's kind of more responsibility than I want. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I wanted that much responsibility, I'd have just had a kid, right? Zach said I found some cool pics of Stevie Nicks in full-on goth style. I sent them to Tom. LOL.
All right, let me see.
Yeah, she looked pretty gothy for a time. I remember it was kind of more like a hippie goth kind of look, but that's a thing. Like that's like some people looked like that. It wasn't weird or anything like that. You know. I remember she looked.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, she looks like kind of. Yeah, like kind of.
Yeah.
She
it's kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, kind of. She was just more kind of like into like witchy type stuff.
Yeah, which, like I said, that's
Witchy
also
and
kind of a
sorcery.
sub category of goth too. So there were some. You don't see it as much anymore.
She was the kind of goth you could go to her place. She got crystals.
Yeah.
She's got crystals, and she's got fucking unicorns. You know, stuff like that.
But yeah, it was definitely a thing. You know, like I said, you don't really see the hippie goth
Incense.
thing as much anymore.
Yeah.
But I think if you wore that, I think people would still be like, "Oh, that's cool." I don't think like people would make fun of you.
That shit would look retro though.
It would look dated. But if you did it right, like you probably could get away with it. I feel like.
The problem is that particular look crossed over with metal.
True. Yeah.
All the metal girlfriends looked like that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
So people might have different thoughts about it. Man, that light is going crazy back there. It wasn't doing that earlier. Like earlier, it was kind of flashing, but not.
Because I'm here now.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? You're causing all kind of disruptions.
I was causing disruptions last night.
Yeah. Not in the fun way.
No. All right, we'll tell them about it.
Yeah.
Tell them what happened, Jay.
Well, like I said, Pookie had woke me up with knocking shit over, and that was like at 3-something in the morning. And then I was just like, whatever. So finally, after I figured out what that was, I went back to bed. And then it was about, I guess it was about 5:30, I want to say. And the smoke alarm went off again. But not like, when the smoke alarm goes off, because remember I said that the smoke alarm would go off like weirdly, like when his dad was dying?
Yeah.
And like he knew immediately. He's like, oh, something's wrong with my dad, and like he had a call, and then his dad was in the hospital.
Yeah.
It was like that. Like it doesn't go off like beep 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 like it normally would.
It goes chirp.
It just goes. It's one beep,
beep,
which woke me up, and I was like, God damn it! What the fuck is this now?
And it's only in here. It's not the whole house. Just the room.
And then like 30 seconds later, it beeped again.
Yeah.
And then it didn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And like it woke me up obviously, and I was like, fuck me! I just got back to sleep. And then like. So Tom's like, what the fuck was that? I was like, it's the smoke alarm. And I was like, what were you dreaming about? That was the first thing I asked him.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're the one that fucking sets that off all the time.
I heard the first time, but I just like, fuck that.
You're psychic
I kept dreaming. I wanted to go back to sleep and start dreaming because I was in the middle of a fight. I was fighting this dude. I don't know who it was, but I knew who he was in my dream.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
And
then you wake up and you're like, who the fuck was that?
Yeah. And that first time it went chirp in my dream, I sliced his throat open. I had this little knife. I had a knife. He had a knife. We were fighting each other with knives. And I had a knife that was straight and then curved at the end, kind of like a flame, or kind of looked like some kind of a, kind of like an Arabic kind of a blade, or maybe like a Sikh blade. And it's the time in my dream, you know, when that fucking blade went through his throat. That's when that first fucking thing went off. But I heard it. I was like, what was that? And I heard her voice. But that was sucked right back into the dream.
Because the first thing I said was, God damn it. Because I'd just fallen back to sleep, and then it woke me up again.
Went right back into the dream and was fighting some more. And he faded away. And I heard the alarm again. And I was awake by that time. And I was like, fuck, man. I hope it doesn't do it again.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, should I? Even though it was only like 5:30, I was like, well, should I just get up? Because if it keeps going off, it's just going to keep me awake.
So I'm laying in the bed. I'm getting scared. And I'm thinking it's going to ring. It's going to chirp again any second.
And that's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah. And so I kind of shook myself out of it and stopped thinking about it. and went back to sleep.
Yeah, it just
But
did
it does
the
that.
It just did it the 2 times.
Yeah.
Like I got up because normally what would happen is that usually around between 5 and 6 a.m. Bambi will come in the bedroom, our other little kitty, and she will start pulling on the the upholstery of the chair in the corner, like which makes a pretty loud sound. And she knows that will wake me up. She's like, "Hey, breakfast time," you know what I mean? If I don't get up right away, then she comes very quietly and politely to the side of the bed and is like, "Hey." Like, you know what I mean? Time for breakfast. So it's like, so I get up and I feed them and get them squared away. But when that went off, and then it went off a second time, and I was like, fuck. And it's like, is this gonna keep going off, and I am not gonna be able to sleep. So I said, well, even though Bambi hadn't asked for food, I said, well, I'm gonna get up and put food out anyway, because then she would come running if she heard it, but she didn't. So I kind of feel like the beeping probably scared the shit out of her, and she probably ran under the bed, because that's usually what she does when there's a loud sound.
Normally when it goes off, I had the feeling that the blow's trying to tell me something, but I didn't get that.
That's why the first thing I thought, because I was like, well, I can't really think of anything that would, because I didn't hear anybody breaking into the house or anything like that. So I couldn't think of anything that might have triggered that, other than I was like, maybe he's dreaming about something.
Yeah.
That made it go off.
Yeah, I knew what you dreaming about. I'm fighting a guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So see, I know.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know that you're the one that made that go off. Because it didn't go off like it goes off, like if you're cooking something and it burns, and it goes off, it's different, it's like, it's a different sound.
And it'll keep going.
And it just keeps going. Whereas, it's like beep, 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 like it does that. But this is not like that. It's not
even the same sound.
It's not even the same. It's not the same chirp as when, hey, you need to replace the battery. That's a different sound too, because that's just like that.
And it's not the same sound as if the fire is going off.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, not at all.
Whatever does it, it's an altered version of the fucking signal. It just goes beep,
and then there's like a pause.
Yeah.
And then it did it again. It did again,
but
then it did. But then it didn't.
Did it again.
I think it was 30 seconds or a minute, and then it did it again, and then it didn't do it anymore.
Yeah, and we don't even touch it, and it won't do it for years.
Yeah.
The last time I did it was when my dad died. That was what, about a year and a half ago?
That was a while back.
2 years ago. Yeah.
No, I think didn't we have it happen again where the one in the bedroom went off one time, and then the one in the hall went off? Wasn't that after?
I don't remember.
And we couldn't figure out what was causing that.
Yeah.
Because that was like two different ones.
It's not weak batteries. I changed all the batteries a long time ago,
and it's not the same sound as when the battery. I know what it sounds like when the battery's dying. Yeah. It's pretty distinctive. It's not that, and it's not the hey something's on fire sound either.
No.
Because I've also heard that because sometimes something will burn down in the kitchen and set it off. You know what I mean?
My subconscious does it, and it does it to tell me something, but not always. Sometimes it was just because I was upset.
Yeah, so I figured
was in a dream.
I figured that's probably what it was because you were asleep. So I was thinking
it creeped me out though.
It is
when it happened, and I was laying in bed going, "Man, it's going to do it again. It's going to do it again." I felt it going to do it again, and I said, "Stop thinking about it."
That's kind of what I thought, but I wasn't creeped out by it. I was just kind of annoyed. Because it woke me up. And I was like, this better not be doing this. I wanted to sleep a couple more hours at least.
At least it's not throwing things and breaking things.
Yeah, don't let it do that kind of shit. You never know. That's why...
It's been a while since it's done that.
Yeah, but, it could always do that if you get upset enough, so...
It's all that Darth Maul fucking dark side fucking telekinesis. Fucking uncontrolled telekinesis.
Zach says, oh man, I can hear my dad full laughing and yelling in his sleep sometimes.
Is he dead?
My mom said he would knock her out of bed sometimes. Yeah, he's never done that.
I'll talk.
He does talk sometimes, not as much as he used to. He used to talk quite a bit and kind of thrash around and stuff. Not so much that, I thought I was going to get punched or anything like that, but it was it would wake me up sometimes. Yeah. But he doesn't really talk much in his sleep much anymore. Every now and then he does. What did I tell you that you said the other day? Like, because I was kind of half awake.
Yeah.
And then I heard you say...
You said something.
Something like...
That's some bullshit.
That's some bullshit.
That's some bullshit.
Or something.
There.
But you said it like in a completely normal voice, like you just said it right then.
Yeah, that's some bullshit there.
And I was like, what's some bullshit? And then I was like, oh, he's sleeping.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it later, and he thought that was the funniest thing ever. Yeah. He's like, nah, I don't remember saying that. I was like, well, what were you dreaming about? He's like, I don't know. I don't remember. But I was like, it's like, I thought you were awake. I said, I thought you were listening to something in your earbuds, and you were awake, and you were like, man, that's some bullshit. Because you do that sometimes.
Yeah. I think I said, that's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
But you said it like completely normal.
Yeah.
Like you were awake. And then I realized
wow.
that you weren't awake. Yeah. So it's like sometimes I don't think you've never said anything like super weird. It's usually just something like that, like some kind of reactive kind of thing.
Class is in church.
I'm in church right now. Hallelujah and stuff.
I had a hallelujah the other day.
Did you?
Remember when I went to the store?
Oh, this is a good... man, I wish I'd been with you. I didn't go with him to the store because I'm like, man, I was in like my boxer shorts and I was like, I didn't have no makeup on or nothing. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere.
I went to the Dollar General store. All the rednecks were out. And I'm in a checkout line. And this old lady shows up. She's my age. I call her.
This is so awesome. I love this.
Yeah. And she's got this little girl with her that's probably, I don't know, up to like my knee. And she said something along the lines of, she said to her, "This is so adorable. Can I have one?" And
yeah, like something on the shelf.
Goes, you can have it. And she goes, "Hallelujah." But it sounded like an angel's voice. And I busted up, and then the old lady busted up.
This little girl just...
Hallelujah.
I was like, that's awesome.
And it sounded like something from a little opera. And I just started busting up. And she busted up. She goes, "That's my granddaughter. She's in town." So that's your granddaughter? Yeah. Hallelujah.
Florida, y'all.
Yeah.
It's a crazy place.
Yeah, she's like about that big. Just cute little blonde.
Yeah. You don't know how old you couldn't tell how old she was.
Probably about 7, 6.
Really?
6, 7. Yeah, little.
Ah.
It was funny.
That's so cute.
It was funny when it came out because it sounded perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's like a super perfect falsetto. Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's so funny. I can picture it though.
It's like, hallelujah. She got it from a television commercial.
I'm sure.
I started laughing.
But I probably would have been laughing so hard that I'd been like fucking crying because that's
grandma laughed. She goes, "That's my granddaughter. She's in town." Oh, and then she goes, and grandma says, "She just flew in right now. I picked her up from the airport." And she goes, "I flew all the way in."
The little girl says.
The little girl says, "I flew all the way in." Says, "You didn't stop?" And she goes, flew all the way in.
He's like, "You flew all the way?"
Yeah, I flew all the way. You didn't stop? Nah. Flew all the way. It was cute.
I thought that was so fucking funny.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I wish I'd gone with you, but I just didn't go.
I said, "You didn't stop?" I didn't stop. I flew all the way.
Right. Yeah, you got to stop the plane in the middle.
She stopped the plane. "Hold on, let me get out."
Let me go and sit on the wing for a minute.
A little redneck child might try that. "Hold on, stop the plane. I gotta get out."
Just stop the plane in midair. I gotta get out and sit on the wing for a second. I need some fresh air.
Gotta rest.
I need some fresh air.
Yeah.
So I got it. That's terrible.
She didn't even pause. She didn't even think it was fun. "All the way, you didn't get out." I said, "No."
Little Miss Personality there.
Yeah. She's funny.
She's gonna be like a Hollywood actress.
Yeah.
American Military 100. Oh, this should be fun. Can I ask you guys a marital question? This wasn't what I thought it was going to be because I was like, oh, okay. Not to create friction between you two, but which traits annoy you the most about one another? That's a good question.
I don't really think about it.
I don't really think about it that much either.
No.
You do interrupt me a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty annoying. But and you're kind of loud, but like, and you play the TV really loud. Yeah. But that's because you don't hear that good.
Yeah,
because your hearing's bad. So sometimes I'll be in the office and the TV will be like blaring down the hall, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like I can't hear myself think. But like,
okay, Jen's constantly fucking spilling shit in the car.
That's true.
She'll spill coffee in the car.
I do that. I don't mean to. I'm just very clumsy.
I'll go in the next. It to be fucking lettuce from the fucking.
Well, now in my defense. this is an excuse. I'm just saying, as this is an explanation. Most of the time, when I have something that's gonna be spillable,
She's drunk.
I'm drunk.
Yeah. She's drunk.
And it's dark in there. Like
Yeah.
usually it's the middle of the night because sometimes it's I'm usually not that drunk, but like usually it's when we're coming home from the club, and we'll stop and get I'll stop and get a chicken sandwich or something like that, and I can't really see because
I spent like over $100 on some brand new custom fucking floor mats from a fucking luxury car. That shit looked all fucking pretty and gray and shit. The following weekend, she drops a whole iced coffee on them.
I didn't mean to.
All that, like, oh. Yeah.
It was I think what it was, the top wasn't on there all the way.
Yeah.
When I got it from the from McDonald's.
Yeah.
And it was kind of squishier than I was expecting. So when I picked it up from the cup holder, like it went and like just slipped out of my hand like that. I don't get iced coffee in the middle of the night anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying not to get, because when we stop at McDonald's, because since I've been on the GLP-1, I don't really have as much of an appetite anymore. It was like before, like on the way home from the club, I'd be like, man, we're starving. You know what I mean? Because you know how you get when you get drunk. You're just like, ooh, I'm like really hungry. And like we would stop and I would get like, a burger and fries and like an iced coffee and everything like that. And now I will get a single chicken sandwich or a thing of chicken nuggets, and I can't eat that. Like I'll have a chicken sandwich, I'll eat 3 bites, and then I'll be like, no, I'll put it back in the box and I'll eat it like the next day.
Klaus says he's a friend of Jesus. He's been
Really?
listening to that
I
song.
got a friend in Jesus.
Yeah.
So I know that. Yeah.
Gone.
Spirit in the sky.
In the spirit in the sky.
Yeah. We know it. I know that there's.
In the sky.
I know that the original is. I think Norman Greenbaum was the guy that wrote that, but it's like I heard it first like in the '80s because covered that song. Who the fuck covered that song?
That's not the Time Lords, is it?
No. It's Oh shit! How did I just forget that? I can see the video right in my fucking face.
Nina Hagen did it too.
Yeah, it's been covered. It's been covered by several people. Doctor and the Medics. Doctor and the Medics.
Doctor and the Medics. That's right.
That's right. When was that? 87, 88, something like that.
I think it was before that. Is it?
I had the 45, which is a little bitty record for those of you that are not old. That has like one song on it. Well, one song on one side and also one song on the other side. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it might have been 86. But now I can't remember.
Going to the place that's the best.
They play it in at Barbarella a lot of times. You know what I mean? Every now and then they will play that. Speaking of which, speaking of 80s music, so this is crazy. So maybe some of you guys know, but Bonnie Tyler of Total Eclipse of the Heart fame passed away. Like I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I don't remember. I heard about it on Thursday, yesterday. And the weird thing about that is that she also did Holding Out for a Hero, that song from Footloose. And the weird thing about that is that literally, I think the day before she died, or 2 days before she died, I had been watching completely randomly this show on Tubi, which I've talked about before, called Video Killed the Radio Star. And it's from 2011 or 2012. So it's not a new show. It's old. And it's kind of just about the heyday of music videos. So most of them were 80s, and like there were some 90s too. And I was watching an episode about Russell Mulcahy, who's an Australian director, who directed a fuck ton of just like really iconic videos in the 80s, including like all the best known Duran Duran ones like Hungry Like the Wolf and Rio and Wild Boys and all of that. And he had directed Total Eclipse of the Heart, rather. And there was a clip of him talking about her, like talking about that video. And then there was a clip of Bonnie Tyler from 2012 or whenever it was being interviewed about shooting that video. And I made a joke to Tom because I knew she was Welsh. And I lived in Wales back in the 90s because my first husband was Welsh also. And I joked to Tom, I was like, oh my God, she has like the Welshiest Welsh accent that has ever... I was like, she almost sounds like someone doing a parody of a Welsh accent. That's how much of an accent that is. And I was just kind of like, that's fucking crazy. And it was kind of taking me back to the 90s because I was like, I remembered when I lived over there. My first husband's accent wasn't that strong. But when I lived there, like a lot of his family like talked just like that. And so I thought that was really funny. And then literally like the next day, like I see on Facebook, I think Charisse posted like that she had died, and I was like, holy crap, I killed her. Like, just and the whole show wasn't about her. It was about Russell Mulcahy, but it just happened that he had directed that video. And also the funny thing was that he directed Total Eclipse of the Heart, and then she was, I don't even remember what the situation was, but I think it was something like she didn't want to do some kind of like sexual thing, or like some wet t-shirt kind of, like he was spraying people with hoses or something, and she got all, I felt like, oh, I can't do that or whatever, and she was maybe kind of a pain in the ass. And so he said that she called him and wanted him to do the next video, and he told her to fuck off, he said. But like, he was laughing about it, you know what I mean? It's like, it seemed like it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, so I was like, I just thought that was so fucking random that like she fucking died like the day after I just randomly watched that fucking show that had a piece of, like, had a clip of her on it, you know? Zach says they actually wanted her to do the theme song for that knockoff Bond movie, Never Say Never Again. Yeah, she was a thing. I mean, the thing
that wasn't a real Bond movie.
Well, I don't know. I don't know why he's calling it.
Why are you calling it a knockoff? Yeah.
But I don't know. But
might have been a knockoff.
I don't even remember what happened in that one, to be honest with you. Vordian asked, Tom and Jenny, how is Hornet, Murder Hornet? Haven't seen him around for a long time. He's alive. He's doing okay. Like, I see him post on social media.
Rehab and shit.
He's in and out of rehab. Yeah. He's okay though. Like, yeah, I see him post on social media every now and then, so he's not dead or nothing. And he's not in jail as far as I know. As far as I know, like at this.
He should be all right.
He'll be all right.
He's sick though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. But yeah, he hasn't been in here for a while. But the interesting thing I thought about watching that show was that because it was British based, even though obviously I knew a lot of the songs, because I was real into British, like, new wave and stuff like that in the 80s, still am really. So I knew a lot of the songs, but I was like, a lot of the bands that they did shows about only had like 1 or 2 hits in the US, but apparently had like a fuck ton of hits for many, many years, like in the UK. Because over here, it's just like, why would anybody do an entire episode about, for example, Spandau Ballet or T'Pau? Because they really only had like one. I mean, T'Pau only had one hit over here, like Heart and Soul. And I remember it was a huge hit, but they did a show about T'Pau. I don't think you saw it because I think you were downstairs cooking. Yeah. But I was like, they had a whole bunch of, they showed a whole bunch of their videos and stuff. I'm like, wow, they were around for like a long time. And they had like a bunch of videos, and I was like, I only knew that one song because that was the only one that hit over here. But apparently they had like a long, and I actually quite like Spandau Ballet. They started out in, you know, the Blitz New Romantic kind of scene, and I liked their shit from back then. But really, people didn't know who they were over here until True came out, which didn't sound much like their earlier shit. So it's really interesting how, because they did a whole episode about the Boomtown Rats too, which I remember seeing the video for Up All Night by the Boomtown Rats on MTV in 1981 or 82. I remember that song because I remember there being like a boa constrictor in it, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. And I might have seen the video for I Don't Like Mondays, because that was a fairly, I don't know if I'd call it a big hit, but I knew that song, and I still like that song. It's on my Spotify playlist. But I didn't really see anything else of theirs, but they apparently had like a really long career in the UK, but not really, they didn't really crack the charts much over here. You know what I mean? Zach says, oh god, speaking of super Welsh shit, I just Googled Bonnie Tyler, and all her siblings are named Hopkins, and her dad was named Glendor, as I guess how you pronounce that. Yeah, it's, you know, with all the G's and W's and Y's and shit like that. Yeah. Bordanian says, do you know how Bonnie Tyler died? She had a total eclipse of the heart. She did. Turn around, bright eyes. So now that song's been stuck in my head all fucking day. You know? And I had totally forgot that she did that song from Footloose. I just thought she had that one song. But no, it was 2 songs. But apparently she had like kind of a hit. Oh, and another episode they did was about Kim Wilde. Yeah. Remember that one? Yeah. And like Kim Wilde, she had, well, Kids in America, that was a huge hit over in the US. She maybe had, I think she had one other one. Maybe, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Well, she did Lift Balloons, right?
No, that's Nana.
That's Nina? Okay, yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, I think she had one other hit, and it might have been a cover, but I could be remembering that wrong.
Okay.
But apparently in the UK, she had like because they played like a bunch of these videos and talked about like how successful they were. I'm like, I literally have never seen any of these. So, and I watched MTV a lot in the 80s. So I would have seen, I mean, they did not look familiar to me at all. I knew Kids in America, obviously. Like I said, they still play that at Barbarella sometimes. But, and what was the other one she did? Man, I feel like she had another hit here. Like a year or two later. But I can't remember what it was.
It's so funny. We go to Barbarella's, which is an 80s kind of themed night. And sometimes we'll see like young people showing up in an 80s costume as if it's a joke.
Yeah.
And they show up and it's all older people fucking in contemporary clothes that look cool. They're like, oh, this isn't a costume party? Like, no.
Yeah. Or younger people that are really into it. Like we do know this one girl,
but it's not a costume party.
She's a DJ and she kind of has like a kind of a cool like hipster girl kind of look. Yeah. And she's young, but she loves all that shit. Yeah. Like unironically, like it's not, and she doesn't look like she's dressed like it's the 80s. Yeah. She's just wearing regular kind of hipster looking clothes.
Yeah, last week there was a guy that showed up and he was like dressed in an 80s ironic costume.
Yeah, what was that about? Yeah, like he had this weird visor thing and like these weird shorts and everyone was looking at him like no one said anything to him, I don't think, but everyone's just kind of looking at him like, why? Yeah. You look really douchey.
He thought it was like a fucking gimmick night.
I guess. Like I don't really know. Like I know that some bars do that. Yeah. Cuz I have seen pub crawls, like 80s themed pub crawls. Every now and then, like when Barbarella or / iBar was still downtown, and there's a lot of bars along that strip. Not anymore, but there used to be, and they would do pub crawls, and a lot of them had themes. And every now and then they would do, like one time they did zombies or whatever, and one time they did an 80s one. And so Barbarella, which plays 80s on Saturday nights, but it's not a costume party and it's not cheesy. It's just like cool kind of post-punk new wave like kind of, and people that genuinely like that music. It's not like, ironic.
It's not a gag.
Yeah, like it's not ironic or anything. Yeah. And like I said, it's not shitty 80s. No, they're not playing like, ooh, funny, you know what I mean? Like they're not doing that.
They had a shitty 89. It's called Mac and Cheese.
Yeah, although that
could be
was cheesy anything. 70s, 80s, 90s. Like they would play anything. They'd play like disco, like they'd play the Bee Gees or like some shit from Grease or then they would play anything that was like Cheeseball, you know what I mean? But it was pretty much any era. Yeah. That was like nostalgic, but it was like almost like novelty songs. Yeah. But that was, everybody knew that that's what that was. And I thought they were bringing that back. I think that was their most popular night. I think we went there it was Wednesday night, if I remember correctly. And we went there one time. I think it was because we had gone to see Skinny Puppy, right? Yeah. Like next door, like or 2 doors down. And it was still fairly early when we got out. It's like, well, it's mac and cheese. And I was, fuck it. We'll go over to iBar. It's right there. So we just went and had some drinks. And holy crap, that place was like heaving. It was fucking packed. And like, I didn't dance much because, like I said, it's just kind of cheesy ass songs. There wasn't really much room anyway because there was a million people there. But I think they're bringing that back. So
I'll talk to John about it.
I mean, I thought I saw an ad for it. Yeah. That they were bringing it back, or they were thinking about bringing it back.
What the fuck is this doing?
I don't know. Just don't even worry about it. But Joe Saturn says Cambodia or You Keep Me Hanging On. Yes, it was definitely You Keep Me Hanging On. Now that's a cover, isn't it? I thought. Cambodia was one of the ones they showed, the Kim Wilde song I'm talking about now. That was one of the ones they showed on this show about videos that I was watching that I didn't know. So I don't think that was released over here, or if it was, it didn't do anything. But Keep Me Hanging On, that was a big hit. Because I remember seeing that all the time. But I think that's a cover, is it not? You know what I mean? I thought it was. Dark Nori, Land of Confusion. That was Genesis, was it not? Yeah. Yeah. That was definitely
Genesis. In a land of confusion.
That was the one with all the spitting image puppets.
Yeah, the puppets, yeah.
With like the Ronald Reagan puppet and the Margaret Thatcher puppet and all that. And like the nuclear War.
Yeah.
I remember that video. They didn't do a show about
Not
Genesis.
love long go round. This is a land of confusion. Whoa. Yeah. Which is a good song for its time, you know. But looking back on that shit with the puppets, this shit is fucking funny. And how the hell did Phil Collins become a fucking... That was Phil Collins, wasn't it?
Well, Genesis, of
Was
which
it Genesis or Phil Collins?
It was Genesis.
Okay, I thought it might be Phil Collins.
I mean, Phil Collins is in Genesis.
I thought it was Phil Collins solo.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Phil Collins. It's crazy because Phil Collins, after he left Genesis, Peter Gabriel used to be in Genesis too, like a long time ago. But when Phil Collins went solo, like holy crap, he had like fucking massive hits.
Yeah.
I do like In the Air Tonight. Okay.
He went great. He was a great rock star for a bald guy.
Yeah, for like just a little dumpy dude who looks like your dad.
Yeah.
I was like, just goes to show.
Yeah.
Before the video era. Well, he was in the video era too, and I always kind of wonder. And I think that when I was watching this show, some of the bands, I mean, particularly because they interviewed Mick Fleetwood, you know, from Fleetwood Mac and stuff like that. But most of the bands they interviewed were, you know, newer at the time that video was just coming out. And they were talking about, and I remember this happening because I was there, a lot of bands that were big in the 60s and 70s didn't really pivot to doing videos when it became big in the 80s, just because they thought it was a passing fad, or they're like, oh, we don't look good, or whatever. Because back in the 60s and 70s, you could look like a complete thumb and still, like, you know, if you played good and you had good songs, like nobody really gave a fuck what you looked like. But I kind of feel like in the 80s, when that came along,
MTV,
you kind of had to look good, or at least look distinctive, like look cool and like have cool visuals. And I think a lot of those bands were like, fuck, we don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? Which I get.
And MTV, the fucking radio became television, and you had to be good on both.
Yeah.
And you had to have a cool video, which was just like, that was just another filter, you know?
Yeah.
It's all right, fine.
And it was just the new thing. It's just, you know, shit changes all the time.
There are people that had a good look and a good video and an okay song, and they'd have a hit, but they weren't a good band. But nobody cared. You just like that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although a couple people did point out on this show, like some of the video directors and stuff like that, said, you know, even if you had like a great video couldn't really make a shitty song good.
No.
It's like it really helped if you had a good song to start with, and then the video could make it like a great song.
You're right.
Because everybody would associate. But a lot of the artists said an interesting thing too. Like several of them said this, including even kind of mainstream people like Bryan Adams and stuff. They said, well, we were kind of reluctant to make videos that were too weird or too literal, because it's like we didn't want to take away, you know, everyone bringing their own experience to the music. Like we didn't,
their own interpretation.
Yeah, they wanted everybody to still have their own interpretation. So a lot of them really did kind of like just either abstract kind of stuff that didn't really have anything to do with what the song was about, or just like performance kind of stuff, because it wasn't putting images in your head that were telling you, oh, this is what. And I think Sting was talking about that too, because he was talking about like the Every Breath You Take video. And, you know, that song's about a stalker, essentially. And he's like, well, I didn't want to do, like, a literal, you know, interpretation of that. And he's like, and I really liked, you know, the way that they did it, because it was just kind of like a noir. Like, it's, you know, it's a black and white and moody, but it's not really...
Doesn't tell you what
it doesn't really tell you what the song's about. It's not, like, super literal. And I feel like a lot of the bands said pretty much the same thing, that they didn't want anything that was just... The funniest example of that, and they didn't talk about this on the show, this is something that just occurred to me, but you know the song Down Under by Men at Work is like the most literal video like ever made. It's like whatever he says in the song, it's like it happens in the video exactly like he says, which is kind of hilarious. Like I always thought that video was super funny.
There were many good videos from the 80s era, and some younger people will see them and they're like, that's pretty cheesy. And yeah, it was cheesy, but but it was another time. And
even back then, they were kind of cheesy. You know what I mean?
I would think the best music video of them all from that era was a-ha's Take On Me. I don't think you can get much better than that. With the rotoscope.
That still looks really good.
It still looks really cool.
You know what I mean? That still looks good.
Norwegian band. I think they were from Norway, weren't they?
Yeah.
Norwegian. It was
They did a whole episode about Aha.
They fucking sounded great. The lead singer was handsome as fuck. They had a little story about a girl who is fucking reading a comic book, and her comic book character pulls her into the comic with her, and she helps him escape, and he throws her out into the real world while he was still under danger, getting killed by the motorcycle racers. But he makes it out.
Yeah, he didn't get killed.
It was so epic that the movies ripped it off.
Yeah.
The movies ripped it off from fucking what's the one about the fucking isolation tanks?
Altered States.
Altered States ripped off that video when the guy comes out of the fucking, he's banging against the walls and trying to make himself not cartoonish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. They did that in Altered States. They ripped it off. Fuck it was awesome.
They did.
Altered States is a pretty
Well, wait
good
a minute. Altered States came out before that.
Are you
Before
sure?
that video.
So they ripped Altered States
Altered States came out in 81, maybe
so
earlier.
They ripped off.
Yeah,
I thought it might have been the other way around.
No, and Take On Me I think didn't come out till 83 or 84.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. I could be totally wrong about that.
The video was so good that fucking Altered States ripped it off, right? No.
No, I just said Altered States came out before.
Okay, so the video ripped off Altered States.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Zach says Altered States was 1980. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I said 81, but yeah, close.
I thought it might have been.
And like I said, Take On Me didn't come out, and I think until 84.
84. All right.
Oh, he says 86.
I thought it was that late.
I thought it was 84, but I could be wrong.
Maybe
I'm remembering it wrong. I mean, I was alive back then, but it was definitely later than Altered States.
Y'all got me. My memory was fucked up.
It was definitely later than Altered States.
Yeah, still a great video.
But I mean,
that's a great video.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna homage a movie,
yeah,
they didn't rip it off. They just homaged that one scene, like at the end.
Him coming out of the fucking
and then banging against the wall,
coming out of the Altered State.
Yeah. They actually, Aha made, I had totally forgotten about this until I watched the episode about them. They made a sequel to that video, but I can't remember what song it was for. Aha actually had, I think they had more hits in Europe than they did here. But I mean, Take On Me is obviously still there. Everybody knows that fucking song. You know what I mean? Like they play it in the club like every now and then, and like every fucker gets out there. Everybody knows that song. Everybody sings to it and everything. Yeah. But they had a couple other ones, and sometimes they play some of their other ones too. Like they'll play Sun Always Shines on TV. I think that was probably their second biggest hit. And the James Bond theme they did, Living Daylights. I remember that being like a pretty big hit.
Yeah. See, Klaus, he's impressed. You're impressed. I give y'all bitches credit. No, from the 80s, Norway had the best video. That Aha video, it's hard to beat that.
Like I said, and that still looks good.
It still looks great.
I think that still looks good.
And the song's great. And he said he just met that guy a couple months back.
Yeah. Yeah, Tanya said Morton's sick now. Yeah, he is. I heard that. Like didn't he have a stroke, or he has I can't remember what it was, but I just saw something the other day on the show, which was several years old. It wasn't Morton that they were talking to. It was the other guy. What's his fucking name?
But I give credit where credit's due. That video is a masterpiece.
Oh, Zach says, it's Parkinson's. Morton Hartwig.
Yeah, Parkinson's.
Has Parkinson's. That sucks.
That video is a masterpiece. That song was really good, and they had other songs that were good too. That was a great band.
Yeah, they were really good, and I feel like
Sun Always Shines on TV. Yeah, and they had a lot of good songs.
Yeah, like I said, they play that. Actually,
vocals were fucking killer, man.
They play Sun Always Shines on TV at Barbarella like every few weeks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Dude's vocals were killer, man.
Yeah,
really good songwriting.
Yeah, Klaus says Morton is a friend of my family.
Is he?
See, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, well, tell him I said hi.
Yeah,
they play his shit fucking every weekend.
Pretty much. Or every other weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the 80s nights.
If you request it, they play it easily. It's going to be on there. Because John forgets. He loves that shit.
Yeah.
But no, that's a great song. And it's a great video, too. One of the best videos of all time, especially of that era. I think that one, even of all eras, that's still one of the best music videos. Because it has a little story to it, and the quality's very good with the rotoscope and...
Yeah, it was all hand-drawn animation, so it's not CGI, so it doesn't look dated necessarily, because it was hand-drawn. But like, I didn't realize until I watched that episode that the band had made another version of the video like prior. And it was just like a regular, they were just like in a blue room. Like it was just a regular performance video. It was actually a slightly different mix of the song, which wasn't quite as good. And they released it and it didn't really go anywhere. And I guess whoever was the producer or whoever was managing them or whatever, it's just like, man, we can't just, this is a great song. We can't just let this go. So the record company basically said, we're going to just throw all this money at you and just make like the coolest fucking video ever. Because at this point, MTV was kind of a thing. And it's like, we want this song to hit because it's a great song. And we feel like it didn't really it didn't really live up to its potential. So they did like a remix of the song and gave all this money to like this animation team to do this amazing video, and it worked. I mean, that song was like a giant hit, and that song and that video like won like all the fucking VMAs that year.
I can't think of another music video that actually comes close to that.
I'm gonna say any of the ones with kind of like the weird like animation, like Sledgehammer, like the Peter Gabriel one, or Big Time, that had like the kind of claymation, like that kind of stuff. I remember
that was a good video.
I remember the Dire Straits one, "Money for Nothing," being a big deal, which obviously looks really dated nowadays because it was computer
in those days,
animation.
That was really cool.
But in its day, that was like really.
I'm talking about something that holds up over time.
Like I said, I'm partial to like a lot of the Duran Duran videos just because they actually made those like movies as well.
Wild Boys.
Yeah, Wild Boys. Like still, it looks like a Mad Max movie. Like the dude with the Russell Mulcahy directed that. And he was like, we had a whole soundstage at Shepperton Studios, in London, which is a huge like movie studio. And they had this whole fucking thing, and they had built the fucking, that windmill deal. And it's like they hired all these dancers, and like everybody had it was really very post-apocalyptic. So it was just like a whole, and they had Nick Rhodes on there, and he was talking about, he's like, it was like a trailer for a movie. Like that's what we thought we were shooting.
Only other band that had some tasteful videos that were pretty good was the Police. They had some pretty good stuff, the Synchronicity video was pretty good. Wrapped Around Your Finger. But like you said, fucking they were kind of ambiguous and vague. You weren't really sure what the video or the song was about. They were just kind of artistic.
Yeah, and that's what they liked that because they didn't want to like just say, "Oh, we're
good."
Yeah, we're just saying what this song's about. They wanted it to still be open to interpretation.
That didn't beat Aha though. I'm gonna say still that Aha video was probably the best video. Probably one of the best videos ever made.
Yeah, like I said, and it's still. I think it still looks good, even though it's
think of any other
old
video that kind of comes close to that when it comes to the song video combination and the execution. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
But most of them are all kind of like at the same level. But that Aha video was like above. There was something about that song and the quality of that video with the rotoscope, and it had a nice little romantic story. Like a little movie that happened.
And I really loved.
It's hard to beat it.
I loved the integration of the live action and the animation, which was really nicely. They didn't have computer animation when that was made, and it's like so they did it all by hand, and it still looks really good, and that's why because it's all done by hand.
It got a bunch of awards in the day.
It did, yeah. Now Camp Guy says. Okay, man.
If you guys can come up with other ideas that could challenge the Aha.
Yeah, because I might not just be thinking.
I'm trying to think of one, and I don't really see one.
Camp Guy says Dire Straits' song "Money for Nothing" is the very first song they played on MTV. Wrong.
No.
The first song was "Video Killed the Radio Star."
I was watching
by the Buggles.
Buggles, yeah. Video Killed
Money for
the
Nothing.
Radio Star.
Money for Nothing didn't come out till '85.
Yeah, it's much later.
MTV started in '81, and actually, "Video Killed the Radio Star," the song, actually had come out in 1978. They just didn't make a video for it until MTV came along. Or until like a little bit later, and because I feel like MTV coming out, they talked about this a little bit on the show. They kind of knew that it was coming, and so some people were already talking about like making videos for it so they could have like shit to show on there, and that was one of the things. So like, "Video Killed the Radio Star." I don't even think it was like a big hit or anything like that, but that was They made a video for that like a little bit later, like a couple years after the song
Yeah.
came out, and that was actually the first video that
We
they
waited
showed.
for that bitch. What year was that?
81.
81.
August 1981.
I thought it might have been
I
80,
remember.
but okay, 81.
No, it was 81. August of 1981.
I was at Jim North's house, Jim and Mike North's house. They lived next door to me. We were in California at the time. I was a little kid. I must have been 11 at the time, and we had these little cable television boxes called On TV. That's what it was called. It was like before HBO. On. And it was just a primitive brown box with a fucking knob on it, a button and like a knob. I don't remember how it worked. And my family didn't have it, but they had it already, and they were watching movies on it. MTV was coming, but it wasn't on yet. And I think they had cable a couple of months before MTV started. And I remember they were playing ads for it on other channels, and it would play an ad on TV.
Yeah, they were hyping it.
And it would just play that ad every fucking 10 minutes. On the on TV channel. And it had I think they had like a countdown going, if I remember correctly. It's a long time.
I think it was a
if
I remember, like I
was,
said, I was 9. So.
Yeah, and I remember they came and got me. Just like, MTV coming on, it's coming on. I said, okay, yeah, I'm going, and we're waiting, and we're just counting down, and you can see like the test pattern and some commercials, and then fucking it came on, and I think it was J.J. Jackson.
It was either J.J. Jackson or who was the guy with the curly black hair, like the long curly black hair.
One of the VJs came on and introduced the channel, and we were just like alienated. We didn't know what the fuck is MTV, and then it went into a music video, and we were like 11.
Yeah.
And 10, 11, and I'd never fucking. What year did you say it was?
81.
81. So I was about 11, and it played. And it was the Buggles. Video killed the radio.
I still like that song. They play that at the club every now and then too.
Yeah,
I think he played it last week, matter of fact.
Yeah,
but very early, like he played it real early.
In my car, yeah, and we're watching that shit, and we were blown away. And then it started to go into other stuff. I think Adamant was on.
Yeah, that was one of the real early ones I remember.
Yeah, and we're like, who the fuck are these people? None of them were American.
They didn't have a lot of American videos because, like I said,
they were all European.
As I mentioned before, Klaus is bugging us, but what's the temp in Florida? It's 8:30 p.m. in the evening, and it's 98
degrees with 100% humidity.
Fahrenheit.
100%
98 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 98 Fahrenheit.
It was 99 yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw. I don't know what the heat index is. My thing doesn't say. It's
usually 100% humidity.
Usually. So the heat index, I imagine the heat index, I think would probably be like 106.
Satan's ass crack.
Something like
that.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I think I explained this before because they explained this on the video show, like Video Killed the Radio Star. That's what the show is called. And they said, well, the reason why early MTV was so much British New Wave is that a lot of American bands didn't make videos because why would they? Whereas they didn't have any videos to show.
Yeah.
And like they said the British bands, a lot of them did because they had Top of the Pops. Yeah. And if you couldn't turn up live on Top of the Pops, sometimes you'd be like, well, can you give us a video clip of you guys so you can show it like if your song is in the charts?
Yeah.
So a lot of them did have video clips that they could play over here, and a lot of American bands did not. So that's why, like, that's the only reason, because that was like the content they were.
American bands saw that shit though, and they immediately started scrambling
and started making
to make videos because they're like, oh, all right, there's a new media.
Yeah,
but we didn't have it.
Mark Goodman, that was that fucking dude's name. That was that VJ's name. I could not remember his name to save my fucking life.
I thought it might have been JJ.
I think he was the first one that was on, but it was a long time ago, and I can't really remember.
They started in between songs. They would introduce the new VJs, and fucking one of them was Jackson, JJ Jackson.
I remember him.
He was a black guy, an older black guy. He was the one that kind of was like the MC. He was like the adult in the room. And then there was a real cute chick named Martha Quinn.
Martha Quinn, yeah.
And
everybody remembers Martha Quinn.
And then a blonde British guy who fucking all the girls fucking loved. And they would like rotate him through. But then it was recorded. It would repeat.
Oh, and Joe Saturn says Nina Blackwood. I had forgotten all about her until you said. Yeah, she had like big blonde hair. I remember her.
I don't remember that one.
And Mark Goodman, he was the one with like the dark curly hair.
Yeah.
We saw him on. Well, we watched that documentary about Billy Idol last night, and they showed him on there when he was talking about MTV. Alan Hunter, I remember that guy too. Like he had kind of short.
Yeah.
It was kind of short, but kind of feathered.
I mostly remember JJ, and I remember Martha Quinn.
Yeah, I think Martha Quinn was the most memorable one. But yeah, is Alan Hunter the VJ you're thinking of? No, it was actually Mark Goodman was who I was thinking of. But I remember Alan Hunter too. I remember them all, which is crazy.
And it was sad. By the time the '90s had rolled around, it started to become fucking MTV started to become trash, where they didn't play any music videos on it.
It was kind of a slow rollout because I kind of feel like in the late... Because when did that reality show, The Real World? I feel like that started in the 90s, mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
And after that, they were like, oh, everybody's watching that. So they just started going like full on reality show shit.
Reality shows, yeah.
And then they didn't really show music videos anymore.
Yeah, the music videos went to VH1. So
VH1 was actually the kind of cooler for a time.
Yeah, cooler, yeah.
You know what I mean? Varg says, what was the name of the lady host of Headbangers Ball? She changes the color of her hair all the time. I don't know. I didn't watch Headbangers Ball. I was more 120 minutes. I was more 120 minutes girl.
Yeah.
But all I remember from Headbangers Ball, didn't they have that Dave Pinfield or something like that?
I don't remember.
Wasn't that guy? I don't remember.
But Ball by that time was going on.
120 minutes. I remember I don't remember who the first host was. I remember Dave Kendall. Like the guy he always had the leather jacket and kind of like a mohawky kind of. He was like a punk rock British guy. But I think there was another host before that, but I can't remember who it was. I used to have, I don't think I have them anymore, but I taped that show every single week, like every single Sunday. So I had like all of these tapes, and you remember when you did VHS tapes, you put it on the setting where you could get 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I could get 3 episodes on one, and like a nerd, because I'm a nerd. I would watch it the next day and write down every single video that was on it. So if I needed to see one, I could find it again. I wasn't that nerdy. I didn't do the time. But I just put them in the order. I was like, okay, this video, this. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was just fast forward because most of the videos I'd seen them like a bajillion times.
Totally, but if obsolete now, you can find all that shit now. And
and it's just. But at the time, we didn't know that, so it's just kind of like I'm keeping this stuff for posterity. You know what I mean?
Well, so I'll always be able to see it.
And a lot of times too, I had to work the next day, so I couldn't stay up because it used to be on from midnight to 2 a.m. When I was in college, I could stay up and watch it. It was fine because I didn't have an early class on Monday. But when I was working, I was just kind of like, well, I got to tape it and watch it.
I remember around 86 or 87, they'd have fucking Susie hosting video show, and they'd had a fucking live show of The Cure. Remember they were doing like an unplugged acoustic versions of The Cure and all kinds of weird shit. It was a good show. What was the name of that? Unplugged, right?
Well, Unplugged was the acoustic one.
Yeah, the acoustic versions. Yeah. They just sit around and fucking do acoustic shit.
That was pretty cool, actually. They did like a lot of good. There was a lot of good performances on there.
Yeah.
For some reason, I remember the Nirvana one.
Yeah.
Where they did that.
That's just all recorded. That's still out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody's got it. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like so easy to find nowadays. Back then, like I said, you were worried that if, oh my God, they showed this one video, they never show this, and it's like I have to keep this. You know what I mean? Because I might never get a chance to see it again. So it's like now, it's no big. You can just look and somebody's put it up on YouTube. I can guarantee it. But back then you didn't know. So I had like piles and piles of VHS tapes, 6 hours long, with videos on them, and every single one had like a folded up piece of like college ruled paper in there with my little handwriting on it, like saying what all videos were on there, so I could pull them out and be like, man, where was that Lena Lovitch video, where was that Let's Active video, or whatever the fuck. It's like you could find whatever, then you'd have to like go through the list and like figure out where it was. It was crazy. Like they were all dated and everything. American Military said MTV Unplugged introduced me to 10,000 Maniacs and Natalie Merchant. I remember that show. I might have, I don't know if I have it anymore. I think I had the CD that came out that was 10,000 Maniacs Performance, like their Unplugged one, because they put a CD out too, if I remember correctly. And I think I had that. but I don't know if I have it anymore because I got rid of a lot of my CDs.
Yeah,
and
see, I
records and
discovered
tapes.
Lena Lovitch just a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
I never caught her. I didn't even know she existed. Never heard of it.
which is crazy.
It's just crazy.
They didn't show a lot of her shit. I think
Yeah.
the only video of hers I remember seeing on 120 Minutes was Lucky Number. And they played that like a few times. I remember seeing that more than once because I had it. Like it was on my tape.
Yeah, she's great. I like her.
But
Kind of like Susie and she's kind of like Susie and Nina Hagen kind of together, but she's her own thing. It's very gothic. Very gothic. I didn't know she existed.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I saw all her videos and listened to some of her songs. She only had like 4 albums because she was having kids. She was married, and she's from Detroit. Funny, she's a Polish chick from Detroit. Her parents were from Poland. She grew up in Detroit, Michigan, then moved back to England, and kind of became and I think lived in Germany. So she's just kind of like a German, English, Polish chick from fucking Detroit. And it was it was kind of weird to find out that she grew up in Detroit.
Yeah.
Because I lived there. And I was saying this to Klaus earlier when I was talking about Detroit. Detroit's filled with Poles. Poles and Czechs.
Yeah.
Ramter's on here. He grew up there. And that's just where Poles, Czechs, and Swedish people, Norwegian people, Swedish, Norwegian, and Denmark, they colonized Michigan long time ago, 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have those names. They still have weird accents. It's the kind of the food. You know, it's kind of changed now. I think a lot of them are gone now, moved away, a lot of them.
But that's still like it's pretty ingrained like in the culture up there. It's funny, I think people don't really realize when you talk about the American Midwest, like how Scandinavian it is.
Yeah.
It is very Scandinavian.
Yeah. It's a bunch of colonies.
Let me see. Count Orlock said, Jenny, I used to record every episode of The Young Ones from MTV. I really wish I had done that. Because man, I loved The Young Ones and I loved the comic strip. But for some reason, I was like, man, I can't, I was broke. So I was like, well, I can't afford all these VHS tapes because I had to buy them, like, obviously. And I was like, well, I got to tape 120 minutes and I can only get 3 episodes on one thing. And I was like, man, I should really record because they used to show The Young Ones in the comic strip on Sunday nights, like before 120 minutes. And then they started with, like Liquid Television, that animation show and shit like that, which was also good. But I never taped it. And then I was like, oh, well, they just keep showing them. It's okay. But then they didn't. And now they have like a box set. The Young Ones Every Stupid Episode is what it's called. But I never bought it. Like I probably will at some point because man, I love the Young Ones. They're so fucking funny. I think I watched those episodes so many times that I probably have them fucking memorized because I watched them every single time they were on. Because I think the show in the UK, because the UK has a thing where other than like like soap opera type shit, like, Coronation Street or Emmerdale or whatever, which go on for decades. If they do a show, even if it's popular, they usually don't do any more than a season or 2. They're like, all right, that's enough of that. You know what I mean? And then they'll do something else. Like The Office, which was a fucking hilarious show. They did 2 seasons, a Christmas special, and they were like, all right, forget it. The American version of The Office, which is admittedly also funny, went on for, I don't even know how many seasons it went on for. But the British one was only 2 seasons. I do have that on Blu-ray. But the Young Ones, I think, was only on, I mean, there weren't that many episodes. It was only on like 1 season, I think. Maybe 2 seasons. I think it was just 1 season. Or series, as they call it.
Actually, a lot of Finnish people fucking settled in fucking Michigan, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Klaus, I think he's fucking joking with me because Todd is going telling him to stop. No, bitch, you don't understand. Fucking the motherfuckers eat pierogies.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. It's
pierogies.
It's a whole thing.
Pierogi. What the fuck is a pierogi? That's some Polish.
What are you talking about? Pierogies are
Hungarian?
divine.
Are they Hungarian? Are they Polish?
I don't know what the.
They're good.
I don't know where. They're really
not
good.
American, but they eat that.
No.
And it's because America was a bunch of colonies, and fucking Michigan. There was a lot of Scandinavians and Polish people and moved into there. Czechs got the last names and everything, and the food. Fucking a lot of Europeans fucking they don't understand what America's really like. I think they're coming back from that football game. What is that, soccer that they play?
The World Cup.
The World Cup, yeah. We don't really play that here. That's like a girls' game. Fuck. But anyway, not to insult it or anything. It's just that it's not real popular here. But a lot of like people from Scotland coming, and they were coming into the South, and they're just surprised at how familiar everything is here. And it's just because, this place had been basically colonized by the UK, the South. A lot of it was just the fucking Ulster Scots. Scots had been kicked out of Scotland and sent to fucking Ireland to civilize the Irish, I guess. But I don't know exactly what it was. I got to look at but that's what took over the South. And I was looking, they were saying that they could do DNA on us. And a lot of it's the fucking DNA on us is actually more like something from archaic Scotland than modern Scotland, because they still had immigration in Scotland. They were moving around a lot. Not so much in the South for 100 and something years, 150 years. These were little isolated pockets of Southerners, and they just kind of stayed the same. And they just kind of developed their own culture. Just a weird place, A lot of evolution,
American Military says Young Ones had 2 seasons. The intro theme song theme from the 2nd season is one most people remember. Yeah, I remember that song too. And then Count Orlok says 2 series. I do have the Young Ones complete series, but I also have Comic Strip Presents Bad News and More Bad News. I would really like to see, because the Young Ones I've seen so many times that even now, random lines from the Young Ones will occasionally like pop into my head during certain situations. Because I have like large chunks of dialogue from it like memorized. Like the other day I was just thinking of that one. Well, I can't remember what episode it was, but it was the one where the 2 demons whose names were Orgo and Futumch, and they were talking about how you had to say their names like to summon them, and it was just like a whole conversation. Yeah. Like you kind of had to be there. It's like super funny. But I was just thinking of that the other day, and I don't even remember what triggered it. But so I've seen that a bunch of times. I would like to see the comic strip again though, because I remember that being really funny, but like in a different way. That one seemed like a lot more surreal, I guess. Whereas like the Young Ones was a lot more anarchic. It was very clever and shit like that too, but a lot of it was just kind of like ridiculous, and then a lot of it was kind of lowbrow. But it was like weird, like lowbrow and highbrow mixed, which I tend to like that. You know what I mean? I think is why I really liked that show so much, like going back to the 80s. But yeah, we had quite a few British shows over here. Like I said, Young Ones and Comic Strip like got shown on MTV a lot, like before 120 minutes, like on Sunday nights usually.
Farg's asking me why. He told me to shut up. And that Norway's like in the 7th or 8th top team now. Why is it in the United States? I don't know. I don't know why it's here.
The U.S. does have a men's and women's soccer team. I know a lot about U.S. soccer. Well, not a lot about U.S. soccer anymore, but like I said, because my ex-husband was a big soccer fan.
But her ex-husband was from Wales.
Was Welsh, yeah.
Welsh.
He wasn't American.
He's not American, yeah.
So, and we used to watch, because Tampa has a team. Yeah. Do they still have a team? I'm not sure. But he had season tickets to that shit. So I used to go see the Tampa team all the time.
North Americans don't know anything about soccer.
Some do, but it's kind of niche. Like I said, I feel like Americans are more into basketball and football. Yeah. Generally, but whatever. It's just I'm not really into any sports, so I don't really have any dog in the fight.
Yeah, sports,
you know what I mean?
Sports are kind of like a fake simulated combat, I guess you could say. But if nobody's getting killed, then what kind of combat is that? I mean, if it was. I know it's a game, but why? If you want combat, just get a gun, go to war. That's what we do. I did that. If football was really a man's game, those motherfuckers would be having guns and they'd be killing each other, like they did in Mexico. In Mexico, they played ball games. They killed people and sacrificed people during the game. I could understand that, but nobody's dying, so there's no repercussions. At the end of the game, in the Mayan, the Aztecs would put the team captain's head inside the ball, and his head would be the ball in the following game. I can understand that, because then it's kind of like a gladiatorial games. You know, that would be entertaining. But if nobody's getting killed, then what's the point? It's not real. It's just a game. But you guys take it seriously. I never really.
Well, movies aren't real.
They're not real. I don't give a shit. That's storytelling. That story. I never understood it. Jen never understood it. My dad would watch these fucking football games, but they were American football. They just get into that shit. And I never really understood it. I thought the games were stupid. Waste of time. I couldn't stand how they sounded. It was, and then the announcer fucking talking over. It was just really annoying. I was like, I hope this game's over. I want to watch TV. You know?
My dad used to watch NASCAR, so imagine that's even dumber.
It's dumb. I understand video games more.
Well, like I said, people are into all kind of stupid shit, and what the hell do I care? You know what I mean? It's like, it's nothing to do with me.
I just don't know why they're as popular as that. I don't really know why they're as popular as they are.
I don't know.
I think we should bring back gladiator games, legalize dueling. If you want to legally go into a fucking game where you can kill an opponent and you can get killed, you're signing an agreement to do it. I think you have the right to do it. If they had a right to draft me and to send me into combat to go fight Iraqis or something, why can't I willingly go and fight an opponent that wants to fight me? If he wants to fight me, I want to fight him, and we've agreed that it's going to be to the death. We have lawyers there. What's the problem? The state is doing the same thing when they wage war. Why can't I do that? The state can make me go kill somebody, but I can't do it. It doesn't make any sense. Especially if the opponent wants to do it. Because then you can monetize it. If everyone wants to see the fight, you can get a big fucking cash reward going and the survivor gets the cash. It'd be a great industry.
American Military says, how apropos that you're talking about young ones. I binge watched them on YouTube not too long ago. And Count Orlock said, I was thinking about the Two Demons episode the other day. David Rappaport from The Bride with Sting was Footomes. Yeah, that's right. I don't remember who the Orgo guy was, but he was like a big, yeah. My favorite episode of that, I think, still is Nasty, because it was the one that had the Damned on it, playing their song Video Nasty. And it was the one where Alexei Sale was a vampire. Like, they went and rented horror movies from the video shop, and then he was there like in a coffin and he was running around being a vampire, and it was like pretty funny. American Military says, music video trivia, the only two videos that were so anticipated that they had their own trailer were Michael Jackson's Thriller and Madonna's Like a Prayer. I definitely remember the hype around Thriller, because that was like a mini movie. That was fucking, you know, somebody brought up like Billy Idol's Dancing with Myself, which was actually directed by Tobe Hooper, the same guy that did Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Life Force and many other things. But yeah, that was John Landis, and that was a great video. It's like, it's an okay song, but you know what I mean? The video is really good. I don't remember, I mean, I remember Like a Prayer being a big hit, but I don't remember, like, I guess because I wasn't a big Madonna fan. I think I had a couple of her old albums, I think I had Like a Virgin maybe, and whatever the one before that was. But I think by the time Like a Prayer had come out, I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But so I don't really remember like a huge hype around that, but I remember it being a big hit though. But I don't remember seeing a trailer for that video, interestingly. I do remember like Thriller being a big fucking deal though. Cause like I said, that was like a movie. It was like 15 minutes long or something like that. Count Orlock says, Jenny, since you brought up the Real World reality show, which somebody said was 1992 that started, which was earlier than I remembered. I remembered it being more like 94, but I guess I was a couple years off on that.
John Gorse brought up a good point, and you're exactly right, John. The state wants a monopoly on violence, because if everybody could do it, you would challenge the state and bring them down. Exactly right. But we had legalized dueling in the United States up until, I think, the 1800s. And really effectively, we still had it into the late 1800s. We still kind of have it now here in Florida. It's self-defense laws. But here's the thing. If you agree to fight another man to the death and he agrees to do it with you, you should both have that legal right. It was never adjudicated They just got rid of legalized dueling, and it never really was argued against. It was like a generational change. Old guys did it. Some new guys came about. They said, look, no more dueling. But no one ever challenged it. I guarantee you, if you challenged it now in the Supreme Court, and you did a good argument, you could get legalized dueling back. Because it's a man's right to challenge another man. If he takes up the challenge and says, yeah, I'll do it, you have the right to fight to the death against someone else if they agree. And I believe you also have the right to monetize it. So you could sell tickets online so everybody could see it. And, you have lawyers there. You decide what the fight's going to be, what weapons, what are the rules. You could turn it into a national sport. And if both parties are willingly going into it, I can't see any problem with it constitutionally as far as the U.S. Constitution goes. I ought to try to get that shit legalized. I'd be like the new fucking, what's his name, Ed McMahon? No, what's that McMahon of the WWE? What was that guy's name?
Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon. I'll be the new Vince McMahon.
Don't be Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon of the fucking...
Dude was a piece of shit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, be like that, of the fucking dueling scene. Why not? And then you could stream it.
But yeah, so let me go back to what I was saying. Jenny, since you brought up the Real World reality show, would you consider doing a show about fake reality shows like Bad Ink and Saint Hoods? That might actually be an interesting topic. I mean, by their nature, I kind of feel like most reality shows are fake in the sense that they're editing things in a particular way, or they're pushing a particular narrative, and maybe editing things to make people look in a certain way, to kind of fit into the narrative that they've already established. But I don't know. I don't really know enough about the form to know if there were some that were just like straight up fake, as in they said they were all real, but it was all actors, So it could be that. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of the talk shows from the 90s, which I guess were purportedly supposed to be kind of reality, quote unquote, because these were supposed to be real people. I know for a fact that a lot of those people that they brought in as real people were just actors. They were just actors. Because a lot of them came out like many years afterward, because I'm sure they probably had to sign some kind of non-disclosure agreement or some shit like that. And a lot of them came out later on. It was like once that had lapsed and said, yeah, I was just like an actor trying to, make a start. And they wanted somebody to come in and like pretend that, this person was the baby daddy or whatever the fuck, like whatever drama they were trying to sell on that show. And so like a lot of it was kind of fake.
Now, Varg said that, Varg was saying that Klaus was doing some gay shit with a dude named Andreas. Yeah, you got to tell me more about that. I want to know more, but drop that in the comment section. You got to give me some more ammo. Andreas. Motherfucker's name was Andreas. Ain't that something?
And Zach says a show about the fallout of John and Kate +8 would be interesting as fuck. It would, actually. I never watched that show because it's not really my thing, but I did kind of hear about that, And, I mean, obviously there was all that shit about the Duggars. How many of them turned out to be child molesters? Yeah. Like a bunch of, it's a bunch of religious, weren't they Quiverful or something?
Yeah, they're all trying to get ass.
So it's like, oh, they're pedophiles. I'm like, oh, shocker.
Well, there's all these.
It's always exactly who you expect.
There's all these other people around, so they gotta fuck them. Varg, man, fucking tell me about Andreas. I want to know more about that. Andreas, that's like a Norse pretty boy name. All right. If he was Mexican, his name would be Sancho. That's what it is. Sancho. Yeah, Chad as Sancho. Yeah. Andreas. And then you have some shit. You have some shit like. That's fucking funny. Andreas. The British version of Andreas would be Nigel. They're in there laughing. The Andreas thing is true? Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me more about it. See, in there laughing. He kicked his ass. Zachary's laughing. He's laughing. Nigga, the gay, my only gay in the audience got to jump in. Zach is laughing about me talking about pretty boy names. That's fucking funny. Yeah. You had Andreas, Sancho, Chad. Who else? Who else do we have? Fucking. I don't know who Thornberry is, man. Zach said he banged a dude named Ted just earlier. All right. All right. He says, but not killing each other. It's true. Klaus kicked his ass as hell. Kicked the hell out of his ass. That's it. And he's still afraid of Klaus. Okay. His name was Andreas. All right. Okay. I thought it was something sexual. All right.
You just wanted it to be something.
Yeah.
Sexual.
I was trying to get a good story out there. I was trying to bring a good story out of the closet.
Zach says I banged a dude named Ted.
That's what he said, yeah.
Well, I was going to say.
That's not a pretty boy name, though.
Yeah, you don't meet too many Teds.
Yeah, that's not a pretty boy name.
And honestly, I kind of feel like even in this day and age, like when you said Ted, people would be like, Ted Bundy?
Yeah.
No, he's dead. Was it short for Theodore?
Yes.
Or is his name just Ted? Because I know sometimes people will just give you like the nickname as the name. You know what I mean? So, so last night we watched, if you have Hulu and you're into like 80s music or punk or anything like that, there's actually a really good documentary on there called Billy Idol Should Be Dead. And it was all about Billy Idol, and it was fascinating. Like, and it's new. It's actually like from last year, I think. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Like they interviewed just pretty much everybody that had anything to do with him. He was on there. Like his mom was on there. I think his mom has passed away since, and his dad has passed away, and he talked about his dad and shit like that. But they went like pretty much all through his, and
how many kids he had?
One he didn't even know about until the dude was grown up.
Know about, yeah.
Like because he was such a hoe. Which his poor girlfriend. Did him and Perry Lister ever get married?
No, I don't think they ever got married.
I don't think they ever got married, but they were together longer than I remembered.
Yeah,
they interviewed her as well. Like
he should have married her.
He should have, but
and there was no reason for them to break up, really. And she said that she's like, he's loved my life. There's no reason we should.
Other than his wandering peen.
She was tolerant of that. She was kind of tolerant.
Well, not really. I mean, it made her really mad. She left a lot of times because.
Yeah, well, she had a right to be mad.
Yeah,
she had a right to be mad.
But
he was lying about it.
Yeah,
she was lying about
it. That's a whole other thing. Yeah, he was like sneaking around behind her back. Like she found out. He told this fucking hilarious story. So they had just moved. They bought this house in LA, and it was really nice. Like they showed it on there. And they decided they had broken up, but then they got back together. And they're like, we want to have a baby. So she got pregnant, and she had the baby. And the baby was only like Willem. That's their first son. And he was only a few months old, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And she's like, so we have all these bedrooms. And she's like, this dipshit, he says, oh, I'm going to go out for a motorcycle ride with
the boys.
With the boys, like with his friend that was his manager or whatever. And she's just like, okay, cool. Like, have a good time or whatever. You know, she has to stay there with the baby. And she's like, this dumbass, she's like, we had multiple phones.
8 phones in the house.
Like 8 phones in the house. She's like, he goes in the room with the baby monitor where Willem was sleeping, like in the crib, and calls his side piece. And she heard all of it through the baby monitor.
She's going, I'll be up there to see you.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I'll be up there, baby. I'll be able to see you.
She's like, since when do you call your friend baby?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
broke up over that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't blame her. I was just like,
she also said that she was seeing other people in the past. They were kind of in a semi-open relationship.
Yeah.
On and off.
Although,
because they knew each other since forever. But no, Perry was right. He said we shouldn't have broke up because we were like really good friends.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like our relationship. We were good friends before we were ever a thing.
Yeah.
Which, you know, kind of went above that. But that was him. I don't think she did that. I think he did it.
Yeah, he was always like, because
I think he was trying to get rid of her.
Him and Perry, I think, they had well, no, they just had one kid together.
Yeah.
And then he had been fucking around on her,
2 out of wedlock.
and he got that girl pregnant.
Yeah.
And had a daughter. And then much later, he found out that he had knocked up this other chick.
Yeah.
And like had a son.
The kids found him, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, they found him like through a genealogy website, and they're like, we have a brother that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I didn't know about it.
I'm like, yeah, he didn't know about it either. But they all met, and like they were all on the show, and they all like were pretty cool with one another and everything like that.
Yeah, and like the guy who just found out that Billy Idol was his dad. Fucking, he already had kids of his own, so Billy had all these grandkids.
Yeah, he was like grandkids.
And the grandkids,
and they said he was really good with them.
Yeah, and he says it's weird. I'm over at Billy Idol's house, and my daughter jumps on his balls and fucking like, jumps on his balls. And it's just my daughter just
jumped on Billy Idol's balls.
Fucked up his balls. Yeah. But he was just like,
that's awesome.
But I like that dude because he was already a grown man when he found out that Billy Idol was his dad.
Yeah,
and he was just like, no, I'm really.
He was like pretty chill with it.
He's like, I'm proud that this is my dad. He's a really nice guy. He's a good man.
I have heard that even on the video show that I was watching, they did a I don't think they did a whole show about Billy Idol, but they did do a show about like Russell Mulcahy and like people that had directed some of his videos, and David Mallet, who I think did White Wedding, he said, and this was in '81, you know, back when Billy Idol was kind of more known for like Generation X, because I kind of feel like White Wedding was like his big breakthrough, like in the United States, right? And he was directed the video for that, and he said Billy Idol, was like the nicest dude. He's just like totally professional, totally cool, like and he's like, I probably ruined his image, but he's like, sorry, Bill, but he's just like, no, he's just a really good dude.
And another thing that was funny about Billy is that he knew Eddie Murphy, and he hung out with Eddie Murphy and fucked up one of Eddie Murphy's apartments.
Mm-hmm.
He paid for it, but
yeah, and I'm gonna say that the name of the documentary, which is Billy Idol Should Be Dead, is very, very apt because I knew about, I mean, Billy Idol, even in the 80s, like people knew that he was a partier and that he was a drug addict, right? And, you know, he was in a motorcycle wreck, but that was like later 80s. They thought they were going to have to amputate his leg, actually. But then they ended up saving it.
It said had it happened 10 years earlier, he would have lost his leg.
That they would have had to amputate it. And it's like, they even showed like him in the hospital with the shit on his leg. It was like, it looked real fucked up. They said the bone was sticking out and everything. But I remember that happening. I think that was 87 or somewhere around there. But everybody kind of knew that he was a bad druggie. Like he was a heroin addict, and then he was trying to get off heroin, but then he went on crack and all this other kind of shit. And he was like a really bad drinker. And in his defense, like that was very common. In the punk scene, like in the late 70s and stuff like that, heroin was very big, like being drunks was very big. So he wasn't really doing anything that other people weren't doing. But to be honest, like some of the shit that he did, I'm shocked that he's still like alive and still looks pretty good and is still like coherent.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes, Varg. Boy George is still alive.
Yeah, as far as I know.
He's still alive. Yeah. He's alive and he's broke.
It still cracks me up that
he's a DJ.
Yeah. It still cracks me up.
That's cool. Whatever. He was broke when he started.
We were watching that documentary about Blitz.
Yeah.
In London.
Yeah.
And they had Boy George was on that. It's a few years old, but they had Boy George on that. And I was laughing because back in the day, like he was like the coat check guy, like he worked there, and he would just go through everybody's pockets and like steal all their money.
He steal all your
and like everybody knew, and everyone just kind of tolerated it.
And he would deny it,
and he just thought it was everybody knew he was doing
but then he goes, I did, I stole.
Yeah, I stole everybody's money. He was like a total clapdown. He just like stole everybody's money.
Steal shit out of your pocket.
And it's just like that was. I know it was probably shitty if it happened to you.
He was living in abandoned apartments.
Yeah, everybody was living in squats and shit like that. You know what I mean? It was just. And honestly, after we watched that, I was scrolling through. I don't remember what might have been Hulu or it might have been Amazon Prime. I can't remember, but I was like looking through some, and there's another documentary called Tramps. That's kind of along the same. It's not just about Blitz, but I think it's about the whole new romantic movement. And it looked really good. Like I watched the trailer and I was like, and it's new, so I was just kind of like, oh man, yeah, I might have to watch because I love that era. Like I just love everything about that. So I will definitely watch that at some point in the future. But because I think the one about Blitz, we just found that on Tubi, and I think that's probably like, it might even be 10 years old at this point. Maybe not that old, but it was pretty old. Um, it was after. I mean, I think by the time they made Blitzed, I think. Well, Steve Strange was already dead though, right? But he died a long time ago.
What was interesting about Boy George is that he was the coat check boy at the Blitz, but he could sing. He could sing when he was touring and shit. He sounded very good. The albums that he put out there were they were good. He could sing. No,
Farg asked if he had AIDS.
No.
Not that I
No,
know of. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, unless
if he had AIDS, he probably
would have been dead
died
by
already.
now. He would have already been dead.
That was in the time in which
back then that was a death sentence.
Yeah.
Largely. I mean, I know maybe some people came out of it, but most people did not. Now you can. Now you can live with it, but back then, no.
He was a slut, but I don't think he was that big of a slut.
I don't know. I'm just like, I really like everything about that era, whether it's the British scene or the American scene. Because I watched one about, what was the one I saw? This was another one that I found on Tubi just randomly. They did one about Max's Kansas City, which was the other, everybody knows CBGB, like from the New York punk scene, but Max's Kansas City was just as important, I feel like, and that doesn't get mentioned as much. And I can't remember what the name of that was. Maybe it was just called Max's Kansas City. I don't remember. But that's like, I watched a documentary about that too. But anything that's about that era where punk was just kind of dying out, or like, I like the whole proto-punk, into punk, and like post-punk era. Like, I'll watch pretty much anything about that.
In those days, the American scene was harder, trashier.
Yeah.
You're talking about, the Ramones, Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop was fucking hard, trashy. Good though. He was great.
Yeah, I love Iggy Pop.
Yeah. New York Dolls. And
Very
these dudes were fucking nuts, man. I mean, one dude from the Ramones was fucking turning tricks.
Yeah.
Fucking standing there selling fucking blowjobs to the gays.
He was like sucking dicks to make money.
Fucking, they were crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy and very poor. They were kind of harder than British punk rockers in a way. But then the British new wave, when they came, especially the new romantics, when they came, they were a lot more stylish. And I think a lot of that had to do with David Bowie. David Bowie was a very sophisticated guy for his time. And I think guys like fucking Steve Strange and the dudes from the New Romantics were trying to, and guys from Duran Duran were trying to elevate the UK club scene into kind of like a higher echelon, away from punk rock. The US would know it as the new wave scene, and it was successful, very successful.
Mm-hmm.
And now the American scene here in Florida and in the goth scene is more like that. It's a little more elevated. It's not like the punk rock scene. It's more like the new romantic scene of the UK back in the 80s. It's more like that. Yeah, maybe even more money.
If you see like even like old documentaries about Blitz and the clubs that were going on like in London at the time, like the whole new romantic thing, I kind of feel like that is a lot more similar to like the modern goth scene, or even like the goth scene in the United States, like in the 80s and 90s.
See, the Bromley contingent, which was the proto goths, they ended up taking over the new romantic scene, so it became the goth scene. And here in the United States, when we got it, it was the goth scene. But it wasn't quite called that when we first.
They didn't really call it that.
We called it more like death rock
until the 90s
type stuff, or avant-garde. But then we know later on. By the time the early 90s come around, we knew it as goth. That particular scene, now that it's just part of American culture for several generations now, really. It's more like what the UK Blitz scene was and the new romantics.
Yeah, like
you cannot be a goth and be poor.
I mean, you can, but it's harder.
You ain't gonna be anything in the scene. You got to have clothes.
Yeah.
You know?
Which are easier and
now.
cheaper to get. Like,
It's
back in the
easier-
old days,
back in the
it
day
was a lot harder. Unless you were really good at making your own shit.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the Blitz
A lot of them were.
kids
They made their own
did.
shit.
They made their own shit.
Yeah.
Like, back then, you kind of had to.
They
but
didn't have
it's-
money in the Blitz.
They didn't have money,
but they worked and they made their own clothes and they bought secondhand clothes and they repurposed them, and which we were doing the same things in the 90s. The kids of today, some of these Gen Z goths, they look fucking fantastic. And if you ever actually add up everything that they're wearing, including the boots, it's no more than $200. That outfit back in the 90s would have been a $400 outfit back then, which meant unaffordable.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Yeah,
be able to
most
buy
people
that.
would not be able to buy that.
So things have gotten a lot better. And they're getting shit off of Temu that we would have fucking killed for.
Yeah, like I said, it's much easier to look cool
Damn.
nowadays.
Yeah, so much easier for them.
It's much easier, much cheaper.
We had to get secondhand clothes and make them and modify and change things.
Yeah.
Look like something out of fucking From the Damned, or girls were taking wedding gowns, used wedding gowns, and redying them and cutting them and repurposing them and making them into stuff. It was kind of like what Madonna was doing, some of that stuff.
Well, Madonna came from the club scene
She
too.
was coming
It's
from that
just
scene.
it was not goth, but
Yeah.
she was kind of like from like the electronic or more the dance club kind of scene.
Yeah, because you couldn't get anything new that looked goth in the 80s or the 90s here. That didn't exist. That was all custom clothes.
And most people could not afford those.
Yeah, if it was new, it was made by a designer. It was custom made for somebody, and you couldn't afford it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, there's no way. Like I said, you'd have to save up.
Yeah,
Pretty much my whole shit was thrift store shit.
yeah.
Secondhand, like, secondhand or military surplus stuff, like High Desert said, and t-shirts that I got from Burning Airlines. Do you remember Burning Airlines, the mail order company
No, I
from
remember that one. No.
New Jersey? And all they did was like punk and post-punk and alternative band t-shirts.
There was
And
some.
I got so many fucking shirts. I think they did some others, because I think I got some VHS, like I got some Bauhaus like VHS videos and shit.
There were some shirts that I wanted back in the day, back in the 80s, so bad I couldn't find them. And we were watching that Billy Idol documentary, and Billy Idol wore one. I want one. That's what I've been looking for. They used to have black dress shirts or black T-shirts. They're like what I have now, fucking like a wife beater. And the pattern on them was a little white, skinny daggers. Look at little cross-shaped daggers, little knives, and they went down in a pattern. And they had them for a while, but you couldn't afford that shit. You'd have to order it, and you wouldn't know where to order it when you were a kid.
I remember seeing
I don't know where they got
those
it.
in
It's a pattern,
catalogs,
little daggers.
and I remember seeing them
It looked like crosses.
in New York,
Yeah.
like at Trash and Vaudeville,
Yeah.
but they were real expensive.
Yeah, and they had black
They had
satin.
pants like that too.
Black satin shirts with white daggers, knives, patterns going down. Wife beaters and pants with that fucking dagger pattern. It looks so fucking cool. I saw that and I go, that's it. I forgot about that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would make those if I could, with using stamps. And
Yeah, you
fucking
probably could.
paint.
I mean,
Or order them. Some company might make that. They need to bring that back. It was a pattern that
maybe
looked
out
like
there.
little long skinny daggers. It was kind
Yeah.
of like a cross.
I remember seeing those around at the
Yeah.
time, but like I said, they were very expensive. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I saw them at Trash and Vaudeville.
It was some kind of a designer pattern.
Mm-hmm. Haida said, "Oh, I loved Burning Airlines. I haven't thought about them in so long."
Laura
Yeah,
says he's got several of them with the daggers reproduced. All right, what was the original designer that did that? That's what I want to know.
but yeah, Burning Airlines used to have. They would put out, back in the day, they would just had this little stapled together catalog, and they just had this big long list with kind of shitty pictures of like what the fucking t-shirts look like, because it was black and white. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't afford like a color catalog or anything like that. And so I got a fuck ton of t-shirts there. One of my best, and I really wish, man, I had this coolest like fucking Bauhaus shirt, and I have not seen this design anywhere else. And I wore that thing so much that it just fell apart. Like it was just huge holes in it. And it just became rags. And then I was gonna get another one and I couldn't find one. It's a black shirt, obviously, and the front of it was Peter Murphy, and he was going like that. Like it was a photo of him like that, like black and white. and it was just very stylized, but it was just like kind of the top of his face, and then it said Bauhaus down the side, like sideways in gold letters, like kind of shiny gold, and it was all lowercase, and it was like a fucking, oh man, it was so cool. That shirt was like so awesome, and I cannot find another one. It might be out there now, like somebody might have made one, but I got that one from Burning Airlines, and I loved that shirt. That was like my favorite fucking Bauhaus shirt. Probably my favorite band shirt ever. I just loved the design on it, and the fit on it was really nice too. Because that's another thing, and this is still kind of a thing a little bit. A lot of bands, even nowadays, don't have girl sizes. Like they just have, like they'll have t-shirts to sell at their gigs or whatever, and they're all like generic sizes, which tend to be man sizes. And I don't like the man t-shirts because they're baggy. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if you buy a small, it's okay, but I prefer ones that are kind of more structured. Like, because when they make girl t-shirts, they tend to be more structured, so they're not like just hanging. Because you know, girls look fat if they have big boobs, like when they have baggy ass t-shirts.
That's it.
Yeah,
now,
I know.
Varg said he thought it might be associated with Andy Warhol. That's Billy Idol with that dagger shirt. And it came with pants.
That was a pretty popular pattern, I remember.
Pants,
in the
shirts, and t-shirts. I want that shit. Look how fucking cool
I
that
remember
looks.
seeing leggings with that pattern on it, too.
Yeah. Is that the one you got, Varg? Looks like that.
Because I do remember seeing that, but I remember them being really expensive.
I want that shit. It's gone. It was from the 80s. I could probably show that picture to somebody somewhere, and they go, "Oh,
someone
yeah,
could make, yeah, someone could make that.
I could do that. They probably make that in India.
You could make that. I mean, honestly, if I could reproduce that shape, I could probably do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd have to look, like I could make a pattern like that. And I could do it on like, I don't know, like Redbubble or Printify or something like that. Like if I could find a shirt like that.
You said it was hard to see.
That was like all over. That had an all over pattern. I could probably reproduce that or something similar. Linwood Sly is here. Hey, haven't seen him in a while. In '82, I lived in Jamaica, New York, Queens, New York. On the weekends, went 2 movies on Fifth Avenue. I love New York. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been there in many years, but I don't know. Something about the vibe of that place I always really liked. Probably too expensive to live there.
How is that hard to see, man? That's not hard to see. Look at that dagger pattern. That's it right there. That Almi, that's something that was put on there, but that should be easy to do, actually. You could probably reproduce a single one of those daggers and just copy it over and over again.
Well, yeah, like I said, if I could make that or find that exact dagger or something like it, I could probably make something like that.
You could, it's just it's straight.
Yeah, I know. I like I said, I've seen it many times. I've seen that shirt. I've seen it in stores. I've seen it.
Yeah,
you know, it was around.
Yeah, it's around, and that pattern was on a lot of different products.
And I have stores. I have a Printify store. Yeah. I have shit on Redbubble. I have shit like that, and you can get like print on demand shit.
Yeah.
It's just I'd have to find a shirt that was cut like that would allow you to do an all over. Because some of the shirts will only let you put a design like on like here and on the back, but some of them you can do like a whole design. You know what I mean? But I could probably find something like that. Don't know. It'd probably be, and it probably wouldn't be that expensive. I feel like it would maybe be $30-$40. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, Snake Plissken, man. See that?
Because, like, see, I made that one. Yeah. Like, I made that design. So. And that was just, all I did for that was, like, found it was that?
Ford Cobra.
The Ford Cobra logo.
Yeah.
And then I just vectorized, like, I took it into Illustrator and vectorized it. You know, so I could adjust it and blow it up bigger. So it wouldn't look pixelated. You have to make it into vector art, like, so you can blow it up as big as you want without it looking like crap. You know what I mean? Camp Guy said they used to have a men's polo shirt made by a company called Hang 10. My first cousin used to ask my mother to get him those shirts when we went to Florida. I kind of remember those. Hang 10, yeah. I kind of remember those. I wasn't a polo shirt person,
Yeah.
but I do remember those. You know? Klaus says, you guys are awesome. And
Thank
Tiny
you.
said, I agree with you, Klaus. Tom and Jenny are both awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, Varg said it has the daggers in the back, too. Yeah, from what I could remember, it was all over.
It's all over.
And like I said...
It was made from... The material had that pattern on it. And then
Yeah. The fabric had the pattern on it. So
yeah.
it was like all over.
Yeah.
And I seem to remember there was leggings like that, too. Because I remember seeing leggings that had that pattern on them. Either in a catalog, or I might have seen them in trash in Vaudeville, or where I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida, which is kind of crazy because Daytona was and still kind of is, like, in a lot of ways, very, very rednecky. That's where the Daytona 500, so it's very NASCAR oriented, it's very biker oriented. But for whatever reason, there was this store, it's not there anymore, but it was called Judy's Jazzy Boutique. And it was owned by this older lady and her daughter. The daughter was Judy. And they were just like old, scuzzy. They were so awesome. Like, I love those two. Those two ladies. Like, a lot of times I'd go in there to buy something, and like I would just be in there for like hours just like talking to them. And they knew Jen from the Jenna Torturers and shit like that. They were old school, like punk rock. They were all into that shit, like from back in the day. And they had opened this store, and they had money, so they didn't really have to. They just opened it whenever they felt like it. But they sold like kind of rock star kind of clothes. That was where you went to get your goth shit. Some of it was secondhand, but some of it wasn't. They had hippie shit. They had a whole section in the back that was all like sex toys. They had all the stripper stuff. They had wigs, pasties, all the lucite heels and all that kind of stuff, like all around the back. And it was like just a really, really cool like place to hang out. They had all kind of crazy fucking clothes in there. And I bought like some of this stuff was a little pricey, but I bought a lot of clothes in there too. And they had like a lot of weird like old vintage jewelry and shit like that. And so yeah, I feel like I might have seen something with that pattern on it in there. Or it might have been in New York, I can't remember. But I know I saw it in person, and I know I saw it in more than one catalog back in the day. Because I remember, like, a lot of the goth clothes you had to order from catalogs. I remember, like, Burning Airlines was mostly, like, t-shirts. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they did, like, videotapes. Because I bought other stuff there, too. I remember buying, Bauhaus did a VHS. I think it was called Shadow of Light. Well, they had two of them. Shadow of Light was either a live show or it had all their videos on it. But there was two of them, and I had both of them. And they also had a book. I have it, but I don't know where it is, like, right at the second. But it was a lyric book. It had like a lot of black and white photos of them, of Bauhaus, and it had like all the lyrics to their songs. And it was just like this little bitty book like that. And I think I bought that from there. So it wasn't just t-shirts. I think they had other like VHS and books and stuff like that too. But I don't think they had any clothes. They did have Black Rose, which was, I think, in London. And I went there, and when I went to London one time, they had a stall in Camden Market, and I went there. But they had a catalog too, so you could order clothes. And I think I ordered like a green velvet dress from there for like one time that I wore a few times. But it was real velvet, and it had like lace on the. It was like super medieval looking. It was cool.
Yeah, Varg, that photograph that I showed you with the shirt with the daggers, that was from like 1987. That was my senior year in high school. I was like 17. And that pattern was like the coolest pattern you could get. Dudes wore that in the fucking goth scene, rock scene, like some of the metal guys were wearing that. And they made t-shirts, and it was the fabric was printed with that. So it was front and back, like you said. But it wasn't just t-shirt material. It was also, they were doing that shit on satin. And like a black satin material, and they were making long sleeve button down shirts with it. It looked fucking cool. They kind of had slightly like bigger sleeves, kind of medieval looking, slightly. And they also had like black satin type jeans with that pattern going down them. with the daggers. It looked fucking wicked. It was some kind of a designer material. I don't know if it was from Black Rose or what. It wasn't around for very long.
Like I said, I remember seeing it various places.
Yeah, a lot of the guys in rock and goth were wearing that. You know, like guys from fucking The Mission UK or Sisters of Mercy, they'd have shit like that.
But I mean, if you say, I'll have a look around because like I said, I have a couple of stores on like print on demand kind of shit, and I could probably reproduce something pretty similar to that. You know, no problem. Like, cause I could make that easy.
It's an easy dagger.
Yeah, I can.
You just got to set it up what the pattern would be like and tell them that's what you want. And here's the thing: if you had a fucking, if I had a way of marketing it and a fucking, I could sell that. I could bring that back.
You can sell them online, like I said.
Sell them online.
Sell them on a print on demand. Because, like I said, I have
on demand. Yeah.
I have a Printify store. I sell shit on eBay.
Yeah.
I do all kind of different stuff. I have like some. Well, and I have a couple of things on there, like. For example, I have like a skirt. It's like a little short skater skirt, and it has like, it's like Lovecraftian, so it has like tentacles all over it and shit like that. So you can do like all over patterns. Mostly what I have on there are, I made a bunch of like horror movie adjacent designs. You know what I mean? Like I made shit that I thought was funny. Like I would take like a, like for example, I made one for, what, the Motel Hell.
Yeah.
Like his fritters or whatever. Like I made a shirt like advertising that. Like stuff that wouldn't get you in copyright trouble. But you know, and I made a better version of remember I had the Mantle twins gynecological like from Dead Ringers, the David Cronenberg movie. And I did a better version of that. Because I made one of those for another store before, but yeah, I've sold some of them, yeah. I sold one that was like Monroeville Mall mall walkers, because that was, you know, Dawn of the Dead, and so it's like zombies. Sold a couple of those, but yeah, so you know, the one will sell every, you know, couple a week or something like that. But I have a bunch of different designs. I have a like Morningside Mortuary from Phantasm and like all that kind of stuff. So I tried to think of like kind of cool, and I have some David Cronenberg ones like Soma Free Institute and all that kind of stuff.
Dave Varg, there was another pattern that I'm looking for. If you look at Billy Idol's White Wedding video, at the end, when he's playing guitar in his red vest, he's wearing a pair of black vinyl pants and fucking boots. Those black vinyl pants are lizard pattern or alligator. If you pause the video, I've been trying to look at that damn pattern. I'm trying to find that pattern. And it's gloss lizard pattern on matte black vinyl.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty subtle, but it's cool.
Yeah,
looking.
It looks cool as shit. I got all kinds of fucking black vinyl pants. They work better than leather pants because they don't fucking rip. And they don't breathe. They get hot as fuck when you're dancing or in a club with them. But that old retro 1981 or 1980 pattern of reptile fucking black vinyl pants, it looked cool as shit. There, I did find an alligator pattern, and it's not quite the same thing. It's kind of squarish. His is round. It looks like a round lizard pattern, like something you see on an iguana or like a gecko. It looks cool as shit, man. It's just that all the vinyl shit I got is like solid. It's like solid matte or solid fucking gloss. I want like gloss and matte with an animal print. Yeah, they look cool as shit, man.
And that's kind of harder to get.
You can't find it. In the early 80s, man, they were into that fucking tacky, kinky shit, man. They came out with a lot of cool shit. Although, I don't probably know what I'm talking about. I was a little kid when that was going on. That might have been an extremely rare pair of pants. For all I know, they may have been fucking handmade. There may be a way to fucking make a print. And print a bunch of material and then make those pants. Which that might have been what happened. Because I've never seen those since. It looked rock star as hell.
Well, like I said, I liked it because it was subtle. Like, you couldn't really see it unless you looked close up. And it was, both the pattern and the pants were black.
Yeah.
But the pants were matte
Yeah.
And the pattern was glossy. It was like shiny.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked really good.
So it was kind of like shimmer, like slightly iridescent. Like I thought that looked kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's an animal print. It's like a lizard print, reptile.
Yeah, it was like a really reptilian kind of print, not alligator, because that tends to be like squares.
It's like squares. This is round. But it's a round reptilian looking,
like scales kind of
lizard skin. Yeah, it looked really good.
Count Orlock says the stunt buttocks t-shirt won't get you in trouble. It might not. Like, I just photoshopped that. It was super easy. Like, I just took the actual, Sex Pistols album cover, photoshopped out where it says Sex Pistols, and just put stunt buttocks in there. You know what I mean? Like, I just fucked around with that. Like, in the same color. So, I don't know. That might get you in trouble. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can do parodies of stuff though. There's some leeway.
Yeah, Varg, it was vinyl. It was like plastic. It wasn't real leather. You don't want leather for pants because it's too stiff and it'll rip. If it's tight, it'll just rip along the seams. I'm fucking getting into leather craft right now. I got so much good leather and good shit. Like I made that. I got belts and stuff that I'm making. I'm gonna make leather barbarian armor for my next costume. So I got a whole half a cow, man, of leather. I'm not lying.
Yeah, it's literally
it's a half a cow.
Half a cow of leather.
I'm gonna make
it's in a big roll.
It's gonna make our barbarian leather. But you don't want to make. I'm gonna make a leather shirt, like a barbarian type leather, but it's probably gonna be lambskin. I'll see though. But you don't want pants to be made out of leather.
Well, not in Florida,
not on stage, not on because it'll rip along the seams if it's tight. It won't survive. You want vinyl because it's stretchy, and it's a lot tougher. It's just that the vinyl you find today it's monochromatic. It doesn't have a pattern on it, and it all looks the same, and it looks cheap. But what they had in the early '80s, man, the designer shit looked fucking great. Looked really cool. Billy Idol had some of the best.
But, he had money.
He had money. And he had designers making shit. That may have been a custom pair of pants.
Yeah, it probably was, I imagine. Because, like I said, a lot of them had people making shit.
Yeah, I looked for some kind of a pattern, a reptile pattern in vinyl.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I could reproduce that convincingly. Yeah. Maybe I could. I'd have to look around, but, Varg says leather will survive if you use grease on them. Yeah, but
or if it's tight, it'll split along the seams, especially on the inside of the crotch and down the back of the ass.
You don't want your ass cracked.
Yeah,
or maybe
you can't get it as tight as vinyl. And there are some vinyls out there that are kind of perforated, so it'll breathe a little bit. And you don't want it to be too expensive. You want it to be kind of semi-disposable. You throw them away. Now jackets, you want that leather and boots and shit. But just for pants, they have a hard time taking the abuse if they're tight.
And yeah, I mean, I have a couple pairs of I don't even think they're real vinyl, but I have this one really cool pair of super, super tight vinyl-ish or super glossy vinyl-ish pants. Yeah. And I love those. They look really good. They're very flattering. I wear them out every now and then, but it's wow, they're super hot. Yeah. So a lot of times I'll go out and I'll dance all night and then I'll come home and I'll just peel them off and they're just soaking wet on the inside because they're just all the sweat. It's like a bag of sweat. Yeah, it's wearing. They look so good though. Yeah. I love them, but man, they're super, super
If you go back in the 80s and go look at those music videos with those dudes wearing those fucking, what they call leather pants, none of that's leather. The pants are not leather. The pants are always vinyl. Or sometimes, you look at Iron Maiden, they're wearing spandex. Black spandex.
I mean, you gotta, move around, what I mean?
Something that can breathe.
Yeah. So that's why I think the pants that I have, they're vinyl look. I don't think they're real vinyl, but they're vinyl-ish on the outside. But then on the inside, they're kind of stretchy a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's so they're kind of two-tone. And they're good because they're high-waisted. So they kind of you don't need to wear a corset with them because they kind of push your stomach in. You know what I mean? So they look really good. They're really flattering, but holy crap, are they hot.
Varg, go back to the 80s and go look at the metal bands. They're not wearing leather pants. They're wearing leather jackets, but the pants are not leather. It's spandex or vinyl.
I mean, like I said, it's a lot more. If you're gonna be running around on stage and sweating and jumping around and stuff like
it's
that,
gonna be vinyl or spandex.
you want something that's gonna like breathe and move around and not.
Well, the
rip.
vinyl doesn't breathe, but the vinyl does is survive.
Yeah. You don't want your ass crack or your balls or anything.
That shit'll split open. Yeah.
Which some people might want that, but I kind of feel like it would probably be like embarrassing no matter who you are. You know what I mean? Camp Guy says men's belts will break right at the place where the buckle attaches to the tail end. Highest area of wear. I dress my belts with leather soap. Yeah, I've had a couple of belts. Well, I don't wear a lot of belts generally. But I've had a couple that I didn't even use them as belts really, but I just kind of, have them as like an accessory. And if you pull on them too hard, they'll fucking snap. You know what I mean? Because I can't wear the big belt. Like the big bulky
I make my
ones.
belts.
Yeah.
Yeah, made her belt.
He did make me one that has like this really cool, like red, shiny skull buckle on it.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. And that's real leather. A lot of the ones like I get like some cheap ones that are just like vinyl that have like a bunch of chains and shit hanging on them. Just like I said, they're not doing anything like that a belt would do. They're just an accessory, but they're super cheap. And if you yank them too hard, they're gonna break. So I've had them break a couple times like at the club where I just had to like take them off and like put them in my pocket and like take them home and like fix them later on. But you know what I mean? So, there's that. Varg says 90% of my music is from the 80s. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I like shit from a lot of eras, but probably most of the shit I listen to is 70s or 80s. I feel like
I liked 90s
and some 90s
and 2000s. So there was,
but there's good new music. I mean, I like new shit too. So
the thing with the 80s is that during that time, they were selling records and tapes. You had MTV and cable television, which meant that everything was being channeled through a pretty small hose, which meant that they could make money off of music, and a lot of money went into the production of music and to fucking engineer an album, plan out a band, and plan out a tour, and so there was a lot of money in it, millions of dollars. So an album would come out if it was a good band, it would be fucking a masterpiece, like an album that came out from the Police or Duran Duran or any of the big bands, and it was good. The money isn't quite there anymore. You know what I mean? Fucking when a Duran Duran album came out, that was the work of 200 people. These huge studios and fucking they had songwriters picking through this shit, fucking honing this album.
Well, and producers looking over it. It's like shit. Then you had like the videos, which also had like huge
filmmakers making the videos,
photographers doing like the whole like
it was a huge
of
production
the time and everything
because it meant tens of millions of dollars for these.
because they would make that back in spades. Like now that doesn't really happen. And like they even said like on the video show I was watching, I saw the one about Metallica, who I'm not like, they're okay. I'm not like I'm not a big metal person. But Lars was on there and he was saying, back in the day, he's like, they'd give you like they'd write you $1 million check like to make a fucking video.
Here.
You know what I mean? It's like they don't do that shit anymore. And this was back in 2012 that he was saying. Because he was talking about like Enter Sandman and One and all those videos they did back then. He's like, they didn't even give a shit what you did really, as long as it was like good enough to be on MTV and would sell some records.
The money's really just not there anymore.
Yeah, it's like you don't really. I mean, but in a lot of ways, like the trade-off.
It's
now
back to punk rock.
Yeah, it's kind of back to punk rock, but it's like better because in a lot of ways we have access to shit that they couldn't have imagined.
Yeah,
like back in the 70s. A lot of the punk bands were like, we're going to put out our own record. We're going to do our own flyers. Which, but obviously they look very crude because, you couldn't afford to like make expensive looking shit. Like now you can. Now you can make a whole ass movie with your fucking phone that looks just as good.
You can now engineer an entire album.
Back then you couldn't do that.
You can engineer an entire album in your house.
Yeah,
one man can.
And it's not expensive.
It's not very
like a lot of the shit that you can do. Like you could use fucking Audacity, which is free.
Yep. And then you could use AI and all kinds of other shit to make a music video to match it, and then you could put it up on YouTube. Nobody's gonna see it. So
Yeah, because there's so much.
Because there's so much of it. So you got to tour.
Yeah,
and if you tour, and like we know guys that actually tour, and they can make a living on it. Would have been multi-millionaires had a record company picked them up and turned them into Duran. But what were the chances of that?
Yeah.
There's only a certain number of dudes that could do that. It's more democratized. It's now shared amongst the good guys.
Which in a lot of ways it's good.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna make you're not gonna make Duran money like Duran in the 80s money.
The era of the rock star as we knew it back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, it's just that doesn't exist anymore.
No.
Now it's YouTubers, gamers, gamer girls, shit like that. People that have followings on social media. They're the rock stars of this era. Now, they're not musicians. Musicians still kind of have their own game. When we went and saw Starry Night, we saw the boys and hung out with them. They still got girls on them, but it's not a huge crowd of thousands of people. It's a few hundred people.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows them in that club, but they're hanging out with everybody. It's not like it was in the 90s where they're like some god on high coming out of a fucking cloud and don't touch him, security and all that. They're not like that anymore.
Yeah, they just play the show and then they come out and drink a beer with everybody.
Yeah, like everybody else. So
like, hey, what's up? How you been? How's the wife? You know.
Yeah. Oh, I saw you, and then you're sharing social media, and that's 2026.
And like I said,
it's good. It's just different.
It's just different.
It's just different.
In some ways it's better. In some ways it's worse.
Yeah.
It's like
for
not...
you guys as musicians, it's not quite as good because you're not making millions of dollars.
But most people back then weren't making.
But most people back then
either.
weren't, and the chances of you being picked up making the millions of dollars was unlikely.
Yeah.
So you actually are getting more than what you would have got if you were back in fucking 87.
Yeah.
Because nobody would know who you are.
There's more opportunity, but you have to do more work yourself.
Yeah, right.
Like, whereas back in the day, it probably would have been farmed out to, like, a record company. Now you have to do all that yourself, but on the plus side,
it's not expensive.
Easier, and it's not expensive to do.
If you need an album cover, just fucking contact Jen. Jen's done so many black metal album covers.
Like, I'll do it for $50.
She does album covers and interior shit. Yeah, she does good shit.
Like, in a day or two.
Yeah, it takes a day or two. And it doesn't cost you a couple hundred, maybe.
Depending on what it is. I mean, sometimes it takes longer. But usually, I mean, my turnaround is usually... And it's funny, I never really thought about it. I guess because in my early days of graphic design, I worked for publications. I worked for newspapers and magazines and stuff like that. So you had to do shit now. You know what I mean? Because it's like, this has to go out, like, tomorrow. Like, in a couple hours. So you have to do it right now. So I got used to... doing shit that looked good, like, immediately. You had to come up with some idea. You couldn't overthink it. So that kind of helped because now people are like, hey, I need this flyer, I need this album cover, or whatever the fuck. And I can do it. Usually I can do it the same day. Sometimes it'll be the next day but it's very, very rare that it's more than 48 hours. Yeah. I mean, I can usually turn shit around really fast because I'm just kind of used to, if you have an idea of what you want, usually I can picture it, and I'm just like, okay, I got an idea for that and shit like that, and then we can go back and forth or whatever.
A Starry Night, we had a friend named Imani. She was this good-looking kind of rock and roll goth type chick from New York who lives down here, and we were involved with her through the club scene. And we were at the Indian restaurant one time. She goes, and she was signing all these metal bands. All right,
yeah, she's like a death metal girl.
She's like a death metal chick. And I was like, yeah. She goes, well, Tom, what do you think the best band in Florida is? And I said, The Starry Night. I didn't even know the dudes. I didn't even know them.
We had just found them randomly on YouTube.
I sent a couple messages.
Wow, these guys are good.
Yeah, in fact, Michael, I sent him like one message. I like your band, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, they're from Miami.
Yeah, and fucking, I said, Starry Night. They're from Miami. And she goes, all right. And I said, well, she goes, I'm going to sign them if they're not signed. And I said, yeah, sure. Turns out she fucking signed him.
She did, yeah.
Signed him to the fucking record label. And he contacted me and he goes, you got me signed? I'm like a dude who didn't know him. He says, yeah. She asked me who I thought the best band in Florida was. And I said, y'all.
She pulled some strings and
she goes, oh, thank you. That's how we became friends.
Yeah.
And
Kinda
they come
funny.
up, and every time they come up, we just saw them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, just a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
Like, it was a Saturday night. We went to
Yeah, they kind
Little
of sound
Pub
like
in
a
town.
cross between Christian Death and The Cure. Kind of.
Yeah,
And fucking their guitar
and they're
player-
young.
They're young guys, but the guitar players our age.
Yeah, but all the other ones are like 30.
Yeah, and he's fucking great. He knows all these fucking obscure bands. He's friends with all these old people from bands. You know,
Yeah,
fucking
Howard's name.
Howard fucking knows all the girls from fucking Switchblade Symphony and all the fucking.
Yeah, he's been around.
He knows all the fucking.
And he's super he's a horror nerd too.
He's a horror nerd,
which
yeah.
was so and he knows all these obscure horror movies. So it's so sometimes we're kind
And
of
he
vibing on
can
that.
write a beautiful fucking song that sounds just like something out of the 80s. It could be a dark wave song, a death rock song, a metal song, or whatever. He's just a musical genius. And he's just a really cool, nerdy music nerd. And he can write these fucking fantastic
nerds.
songs. And I'm like, man, that sounds like Tears for Fears. And he goes, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was writing a Tears for Fears song. I said, dude, man, it's you doing Tears for Fears. Yeah. It's just really good, you know. And they're one of Florida's best. I think one of Florida's best bands.
Yeah, they're great. They're
Yeah.
they're a really good band.
Yeah. And are they rich? No.
No.
They're well known, but they're very well known in Germany. Whenever they go to Gothic Treffen and shit like that, they got a huge following in Germany. Germany loves them. They're bigger in Europe than they are here.
They just came back from
Yeah.
that, not last month I think it was. Whenever that big German festival was, they
Yeah.
played at that, and
Treffen.
they're on the same label as Dasik. Like they know the guys from Dasik.
Yeah, they hang out with Dasik, those guys.
Who are I'm
Yeah.
not like real into like, I guess you'd call it industrial, right?
Yeah, it's industrial.
But I really like Dasik.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're on the same label as them, and they're kind of. Now, Varg says The Cure is from the beginning of the 80s. Cure is from the late 70s,
Yeah,
actually. Wasn't
yeah.
their first shit, wasn't that 77 or 78? I feel like they're...
Very 78, I think.
I think it was 78 was their...
very
was
early
their
Boys
first
Don't
shit.
Cry type shit. Fucking.
And it's funny to see them
Yeah.
back then, like every now and then they'll play at the club, like they'll play one of their real old songs.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to see them like so fucking young, like Robert Smith looking like a fucking child.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like
The Cure
fucking
got
there.
stereotyped and pigeonholed through their commercial music. You know, like Friday I'm in Love and shit like that.
Which
That's not how The Cure sounded.
no.
Get the album called Pornography. Man, that's a dark album.
1982.
1982.
That's still my favorite Cure.
That's
album.
probably their best. They did some really dark, dirgy, death rock, proto goth, psychedelic at the same time. Really good shit. They could do whatever. Now they knew they could do negative and positive. They didn't want to get stuck into a rut. They said after they did Pornography, they didn't want to ever do an album like that again.
It's a little heavy.
Because they said that what would happen is they were getting drawn down that direction through their fans, and they were like, no. So they
It's
started.
such a good album.
Yeah.
It's so good. That's
But-
still my favorite Cure album.
So what they did is like some songs on their albums are kind of dark, and some songs are real happy, and some are radio play.
Yeah.
It's always a mixture. But no, The Cure. You were kind of forced to deal with The Cure because they just wouldn't go away.
They're still around.
They're still fucking around,
which blows my mind.
and they're good. They're a boring show to watch.
I
live.
will give it
But
that.
they
I saw
sound
them
great.
live. I
They
think
sound
the
great.
only time I saw them live was 1990.
Yeah.
And I had fucking nosebleed seats because
Yeah.
it wasn't cheap even back then. But I mean, it was a good show. But yeah, they're not exciting to watch live. I will say
They
that.
sound good,
They just kind of stand there. But yeah, they
They sound
sound
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
They sound.
And The Cure is just proof of that longevity is a very strong quality. They just wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
they just did their own thing.
Yeah, and they didn't care if you liked it or not. They just
They're just like whatever.
they just kept doing it. And they have
We're just
fans.
doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Which is kind of, in a way, what the Grateful Dead did. The Grateful Dead sucked, but they just wouldn't go away. And they had a following.
Yeah.
And they just kept showing up, and you got high with them. Were they a great band? No. Grateful Dead sucked.
Yeah, I'm not.
They were really cool to get high with. And that's what they're fucking... And they just wouldn't go away.
And there's like a significant
thing for
portion
that.
of people that are into that.
That's what they were into, right? The Cure's
Fair
like
enough.
that. They were a cool goth band. They were very good. They wouldn't go away.
Yeah, they're just like, here we are, we're still here.
Yeah.
Putting another album out.
Yeah, I'm fucking way overweight. I look like shit. I'm still gonna sing the song.
And everyone's like,
I should have
okay.
retired 40 years ago. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna sing the song. And we're like, okay, all right. You sound great, Rob. Sound good.
Yeah,
you sound right, Bob.
Everyone accepts
Fucking,
it.
you know, Friday, I'm in love. Then you're fucking huge, bitch.
Everyone accepts it.
Yeah, but it's all right. He's ridiculous looking, but you know what you're in for when you go to see the
Well,
Cure.
and like I said, there's a power in not caring.
There's a certain amount of power. There's a certain amount of power in fucking allowing things to remain fucked up,
Sure.
and just it's fucked up, and I. But that became Cure's brand.
Yeah.
It's just to say we're not going away.
Like I said, you either like it or you don't. They
Yeah.
they don't really give a shit either way.
Yeah, they're a great band though. Great
Yeah.
band. Tight, very tight band. Great guitarists.
And that's
Great.
kind of hilarious to me
Yeah.
that they're like a legacy band now.
Yeah, legacy.
They've been around for fucking forever since, like I said, since the late 70s.
Yeah.
And
What I liked about it.
you know, I'm kind of more a fan. Like I said, I like their early shit, like which was kind of like their more punky shit, like from the late 70s,
Yeah.
and like their shit from the early 80s. Honestly, the last album I bought of theirs was Disintegration, and that was 1990, which is a
Yeah.
great album.
I bought Violet Mood Swings.
I heard that
2008. It's good.
because
It
I
was
had
2008, 2007.
because I knew people that had that. Like I heard their shit after that.
Yeah.
But Disintegration was the last album of theirs that I
they put
bought.
out a new album every like year or so.
They do.
They're still putting out albums.
And people still buy it, and people still go see them, and it still sells out.
Yep.
So they're just like, okay, guess we're doing something right.
Yep.
But I like that. I like that. I kind of feel like bands like that, they sort of make the market come to them.
Yeah.
They're not trying to, because there's something that I don't like, and something that's like very desperate about people that kind of change their sound to cater to whatever is popular at the moment, because you know they're trying to sell records, or they're trying. I understand why they do that, obviously, because it's like, hey, we want to be successful, but there's something a lot cooler and a lot more punk rock about a band. It's just be like, we're just gonna do whatever the fuck we want, and people are either gonna buy it or not, and we don't care.
Yeah.
And it works sometimes.
Counter Luck said, Tom, I just sent you a couple of old Boston hardcore punk flyers from way back. I'll check them out in just a second. And then Counter Luck also said, I'm sorry, I had to step away, but you mentioned Iron Maiden wearing spandex. I also remember Iron Maiden wearing boxing boots and high socks. Yeah, I think they did wear that. Boxing boots and high socks, yeah. Yeah, and they were almost kind of like something a fucking wrestler would wear. They almost went up to the fucking your knee, and they put the socks above them.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was like in fucking 87 or so. Yeah, Iron Maiden wore fucking spandex bottoms.
Well, a lot of them did.
It was tight because they liked that tight look.
Because they're like, look at my penis, you guys.
I think it started off the tight vinyl pants.
Yeah.
But then they said, man, those fuckers don't breathe. So they found tight spandex, black, shiny pants that kind of
Yeah.
look like vinyl from a distance
They're a lot
on stage.
stretchier. You
But
can
they're
move around
stretchier,
in
and
them.
then they breathe better.
Yeah.
And then they said, fuck it. And then they started wearing like clown colors. Clown patterns and shit, like a Harlequin and shit. Yeah. And then they wear the fucking like wrestlers' boots and shit. They would be up to, instead of wearing like Doc Martens, from a distance you couldn't tell that those weren't Doc Martens. They were probably like
It's
wrestler
like we
boots
wanted
or
something more
boxer boots.
comfortable.
More comfortable. Well,
I get it.
it made more sense. They were running around, jumping around on
Yeah,
stage
like I
and
said.
shit. Fucking.
It's hard to clonk around in
Yeah.
boots. Like when you're trying to climb all over shit and everything. I get
Clark
it.
said they played in Norway this winter, but they were sold out and tried to get. You must be talking about the Cure.
The Cure, yeah.
The Cure is no joke. And here's something else, man. There's $100 a ticket.
Everything is like so expensive nowadays.
Yeah, it's not. That's not a cheap show to go see the fat fuck. He's an expensive fat fuck. He's
I'm
got
sure-
fans. People
Yeah.
love him.
Like I said, and obviously, like people would complain it's expensive, but I'm like, well, obviously it sells out. So, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember how much it was to see them in 1990, because that was when I saw them. It was them and the Cranes, and they played at what was then called the Orlando Arena, which now has, what the fuck is it called now? It's a corporate name, like it's not Target, but it's like, you know, a company like bought it and put their name on it, but I don't remember what it is. But back then it was Orlando Arena. I saw Depeche Mode there too, and it's alright. But the Cure and the Cranes I saw them in 1990, and I remember I lived in an apartment behind Bel Air Plaza in Daytona Beach on A1A, right across from the beach. And there was a record store, and that was where it was Record Town or whatever, like where you bought tickets. They had a Ticketmaster. So whenever there was a show that I wanted to go to, it was really easy because I could just get up out of my apartment and just walk across the street and go and wait in line, like to get tickets. It was like super easy. Like I could get up at like 4 a.m. and go over there and wait, depending on what the show was. And me and my friends went over there to wait for Cure tickets, and I'm trying to remember how much it was. How much were they? I think they were, I want to say they were $35 in 1990, which then seemed like a lot of money. Because keep in mind that during the 80s, I went to a lot of shows in the 80s and 90s, but most of them were like alternative bands or punk bands or something like that. So it was like $5, $10, $15, something like that. It was like cheap. So if you were going to see a big legacy band like The Cure or Depeche Mode or something like that, it was like $35, $40, and you're like, ooh, man, that's a little bit pricey. And it's crazy now because now tickets are like fucking $200 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like back then that was expensive, but I'm like, man, it's The Cure. Like I didn't get to see them in the 80s. So it's like I got to see them after Disintegration came out.
Todd's sending me some old Boston flyers, punk rock flyers.
Yeah,
Stomp box. Yeah. And then see if he's got another one.
Fark says The Cure was $70.
70? Okay.
I mean, that's
close to 100.
for nowadays. That's
still
not
high.
awful. That's not awful for now.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
That's still pretty high.
it's still high, but
They're making, and look,
I've seen like some bands nowadays are legit charging like $200 for real.
And usually the Cure shows are sold out.
Well,
they'll sell
oh,
out.
you messed the lighting up.
Yeah.
It's like got super
Sorry.
bright. Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
That's good.
I don't know. Now it's all blurry.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is blurry. Look,
It'll go back. It'll go back.
it's blurry. Also, I need another drink. I had to make my last one.
All right.
You make this one.
Go ahead and give it to him.
Linwood says, Tom, I listened to Grateful Dead since the 1990s.
Yeah. Shitty band. But I'm sure it's a great show. You get high as fuck.
Yeah, it probably
and
is.
dance around, but
Yeah, like it's not
it's
really.
all improv.
It's not really my
They
thing.
have a couple of real songs. The rest of the shit, they're just improv.
But I would never disparage like people that were into that. So it's not really my thing, but it's like, I know it's other people's thing and I don't really care. But yeah, I want to say maybe it was more expensive than that, but I feel like it was like $35 to see The Cure in 1990. Cuz I was pretty broke and I could afford to go. So it couldn't have been that egregious. You know what I mean? Like I said, I saw Depeche Mode in 1990 also with Nitzareb, and I also saw them at Orlando Arena. Those are like the biggest shows that I went to. Mostly I saw shows at like smaller venues that were much cheaper. I honestly don't remember paying more than $50. I don't even think I ever paid $50 for a show. Now that I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to think what are the most expensive fucking... I saw Echo and the Bunnymen. The first show that I ever went to, I saw Echo and the Bunnymen in 1987, and it was $15. And that was at... there was this little theater. It's not there anymore, but there was like a little theater. What the fuck was that called? Bob Carr Auditorium. That's right. Bob Carr Auditorium in Orlando. And the Leather Nun opened. And I went with my friend Tanya. We were 15. I think my dad dropped us off because we couldn't drive. And we were in the very back. It sucked. But I mean, we could kind of see. It's not a huge place. It was a pretty small place. So we could still kind of see. And we actually saw them before, I think it was Pete DeFreitas, right? He was the drummer. He died, like, in a motorcycle accident. Only, like, a few months, I think, after I saw them. Because I was a huge, huge, huge Echo and the Bunnymen fan. Like, going back to, like, the early 80s. And I was so fucking jacked, like, to see them. But I remember specifically that was $15. And I might still have that ticket stub somewhere. Because I kept it, like, in a scrapbook. But I remember that show. That was fucking great. That was the first show that I went to. I think prior to that, well, no, that's not true. I think maybe my parents had taken me to see the Beach Boys or some shit like that. Like, at the Daytona band show, like that was like a free show for spring break or some shit.
Yeah,
But that wasn't anything I chose.
Todd's showing me fucking Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. See, that's fucking
Yeah.
that's fucking spandex pants and
Look at
fucking
his
like
socks.
look at his socks. He's got his socks and fucking some kind of boxing shoes.
That's kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous. The spandex in
But
this,
all right, I'll allow
with
it.
his fucking feather mask. He's doing the fucking Power Slave album and shit. Yeah. Yeah, but no, that's what they wore.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. It's a cool belt, though.
Yeah.
Socks.
Yeah, the socks is
Socks
is
and tennis
sending
shoes
me.
and shit.
Varg says in the 80s I saw Accept and the cost was about $25. Still
Yeah.
have a scarf.
You couldn't see Except for that cheap in the U.S. That's a German act.
Yeah.
And they stayed
Kinda.
mostly over there. They were good, though, man. I fucking liked Udo Dirk Snyder and shit. I had fucking like 4 of the albums. I had his early albums from the late 70s. Fucking, it sounded like Judas Priest. Old Judas Priest. It was like almost kind of like psychedelic. Yeah. Can't remember the name of that song. But early Accept was great. And then Fast as a Shark and Balls to the Walls and all that. But I had the ones that before that when I was a kid. I just can't remember the names of them. Man, I had to go back and revisit that band.
Varg also says, remember I saw Meatloaf some years ago and he was as big as the piano almost. Yeah, he was a big boy. He got a lot bigger like as time went on. But yeah, I've seen so many shows in my day.
Sophie said she's gonna sneak into the chat here and wave.
Oh,
Is she in there? Is
I don't
she
know.
in
I
there?
haven't seen her yet.
Okay.
I've seen so many shows that I can't remember all the ones that I've seen. Because some bands I've seen multiple times. You know what I mean? Like, I think I mentioned before, like I've seen 9 Inch Nails probably like 4 times. I've seen Guar 5 or 6 times. I've seen the Genitortures fucking 6 or 7 times. I've seen Bad Religion a bunch of times. I saw Peter Murphy a bunch of times. I saw the Sisters of Mercy probably 5 or 6 times. Trying to think. So there's ones that I've seen like a whole bunch of times. But I saw Bauhaus twice. I saw the Cramps once. Saw Christian Death, but it was Valor.
Yeah, me too. I always wanted to see Roz.
I did too, but I didn't get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You never knew who was gonna play.
Yeah.
You never
Hey,
knew.
there she is.
What's up, Soph? How you doing,
Man,
babe?
you haven't been in the chat for a long time.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you in the chat.
Yeah, I was pre-gaming up at the fucking Oasis. And I sent her a quick video of me fucking jamming out to fucking Danzig. And she was trying to identify what that song was. It was I'm Going Down to Die on Danzig 4.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was.
Yeah, Tom goes to the biker bar and then starts playing weird ass shit. Like he was
I was driving out of that.
he messaged me and he was like, I'm playing like all kind of shit. He's like, I'm playing Fields of the Nephilim,
Yeah,
Preacher
playing
Man.
Fields of the Nephilim.
And I was like,
Preacher
awesome.
Man. Fields of the
That's a
They're
great
like-
song. What is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great song.
Yeah.
So
No,
he plays like a bunch of, because he's like, oh man, when he got there, he's like, oh, there's a bunch of like that new country shit on.
They're
I'm
playing
like,
country
ugh.
music. I fucking hate it.
I was like, gross.
And
some
Amy,
good
who's
shit.
tending bar, hates that shit too. And she's like,
I mean,
play,
it's awful.
Play my songs for me. It's all right.
Play my songs.
Yeah, she likes vampire songs from fucking what's that? What down in New Orleans.
Concrete Blonde.
Concrete Blonde. Yeah, she played that one. She
Bloodletting, that song
Yeah,
is called.
Bloodletting. And then she's actually gonna play the fucking the song from 007, the one with Alicia Keys and the guy from the White Stripes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I'll play some other. She's played another vampire song. And so I played fucking. All right, I'm gonna play fucking Venus and Furs from the fucking Velvet Underground. I played that, and fucking that made that she liked that. And then
Shit. I love that song.
A lot of these old fat boys and shit were fucking out. They would get, what the hell's this? Says, you don't know what that is, man. Fucking, you know.
That's from the 60s.
From the 60s. Fucking, yeah.
Like, they don't know it was from the 60s? Crazy.
They don't know heroin.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Here's-
idea about
okay,
heroin,
so, like,
heroin culture.
This reminded me because one time, like, I used to work night shift at a newspaper. And, like, all the people there were cool. They were all, like, a little bit older than me or whatever. And we always had the radio on. And it was always just on the classic rock station because that was the only thing that Daytona had that wasn't offensive. Like nobody liked country music. We didn't want to hear that. So we're like, oh, the classic rock station. It's it's pretty inoffensive. But one night they were doing a thing, and for whatever reason, I don't even remember why this was. I was actually like kind of shocked. And they were doing a thing where it was like a show because I worked overnight until I worked till like 5:30 to 2:30 in the morning. And so at midnight they're like, okay, we do a different band like every night. And for whatever reason they did the Velvet Underground. And I was like, what? I was like, this is not something I would have expected from a Daytona Beach classic rock station.
Yeah.
And they played Heroin.
Yeah.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here with this. And like the other people in there were like, what the fuck is this? I was like, you guys don't know. This is like from 1969 or something like that. This is like y'all's era.
You got
like, this is before I was born, but I'm into it.
You got it right, Keller. Like Another Way to Die.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that song.
That's a good song, actually.
Yeah.
We like a lot of me and Tom's song
is a Bond
is a Bond theme. Not that one. It's actually The World Is Not Enough by Garbage.
Yeah.
That's our song.
Yeah. And it's from the villain's point of view.
It's like a villain song.
Yeah, it's the villain's point of view. The world is not
I like the one that Chris Cornell did too.
Yeah, yeah. You Know My Name.
You Know My Name, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
died
from,
after that, right after that.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
What that was from Casino Royale.
Casino Royale,
yeah. Like that's a great song. And I'm not a big Soundgarden fan or anything like that, but it's like
so if there's a series you got to see. It's called Primal. It's a cartoon. It's on HBO Max. Okay, you need to see it if you can. The guy who made it is going to do the new Conan series.
It's the same guy that did Samurai Jack and
Samurai,
it's like Adult Swim. It's Adult Swim.
There's not a word of English in it. Well, except one episode. It's got 3 seasons.
There's not much talking in it at all, actually.
And it's based it's taking place in Robert E. Howard's world of fucking what is he called?
Hyboria.
What?
Hyboria.
Hyboria. Yeah.
I'm trying to
he doesn't say
bright.
that, but if you know Robert E. Howard's writings, it's taking place in the world of Conan. It's about a guy who's basically a caveman, and he befriends a dinosaur.
Like you do.
And
he tries to defend her babies, and so she's like, oh.
Yeah, well, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Of how you befriend a dinosaur and what is a dinosaur like to be your friend. It's fucking bizarre. And all kinds of wild ass shit happens for fucking 3 seasons. And the 3rd season is the wildest of them all.
You got to stick with it, though, because for the first couple episodes, we were like, I
don't know if I like
this. I'm not sure I like this direction.
Yeah,
but
it starts to make sense as it goes.
It makes sense as it goes on.
After the 3rd season. But as well as he handled this, I want to see Samurai Jack. I also want to see his Star Wars Clone Wars.
Yeah, he did Clone Wars.
He did Clone Wars animated, not the CG one. But they say that that's really good, too. They say that's some of the best Star Wars. George Lucas said he wanted him to handle Star Wars from there on out, but it didn't work out. I think Star Wars would have turned out to be a better product had he run it, because he understands this kind of literature. But you should see Primal. Yeah, we
just watched like pretty much the whole. It's 3 seasons.
It's 3 seasons. It's a cartoon. It's animated, but it's extremely gory.
Like I said, it was on Adult Swim.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really good.
Cartoon Network originally,
and it's only little 20-minute episodes, and it's really artistic and fucking awesome. Awesome. It's just like very, very American. Very fucking.
I got like really emotionally invested.
Yeah, you're getting like what? No way. Yeah.
Like especially as season 3 went on, I was like, oh man, is this gonna end? I was like, I was getting really upset, like if it was gonna end.
If you
like
see that, it's gonna prime you for the I have a very good feeling that this man can handle the Conan property. It's gonna be he because he loved that property.
Because that show was so good.
He wanted to do Conan, but he didn't have the licensing.
So he said, well, I'll do something Conan-like.
So
he
put it in the same world, universe as Conan.
But without drawing attention to that.
But he didn't call anything what it is.
But if you know Robert E. Howard.
You know what it is if you know.
Then you know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like each
like,
new civilization, you're just like, that's these
Kushites.
people. That's this,
Yeah, you go, oh, okay, those are the Stygians.
Yeah. I don't think any of them are like straight up based on any of the stories directly.
No.
because you'd probably get in trouble.
No, it's not based on any of the stories. It's just
but-
the universe.
Yeah, it's just, but they put it in his universe,
Yeah.
which you can do as long as
Yeah.
you have kind of like original stories. And he, like I said, he doesn't name anything.
Yeah, and your boyfriend will love them.
I mean, I really like them. They're super violent.
Yeah.
Really gory.
And they're very well written. And the fucking score, the musical scores are great. It's a classical score. The storytelling is fucking just epic. Yeah, and it's very much to Robert E. Howard's philosophies. There's even an episode where they end up in 1800s England, just so you can see what Charles Darwin has to say about all this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going, as soon as I went, wait a minute, hold on. Charles Darwin's in here? And I go, this is Robert E. Howard,
It was
man.
just so random.
This is Robert E. Howard.
That's the only episode that's
yeah,
like that.
because Robert E.
But I was
Howard
kinda
believed that
I see what you're doing.
Robert E. Howard believed that, not only could man come from ape, man can regress back into an ape-like form. And that's exactly what that was all about.
Yeah, that was a pretty...
That you could devolve into a primitive savage. Yeah, it's about a fucking escaped convict, and he motherfuckers devolved into a fucking monster. And he's got to fight all these fucking civilized British gentlemen that have all this money in their mansion. Oh, it is epic, man. It's epic. Yeah. I go, yeah, let's see how the savage and the civilized come, how they work out side to side, how they work. It's just, and it comes out of the blue. They don't even build you up to that episode. They just show it.
Yeah, there's like, oh, all of a sudden, hi,
Yeah.
we're in Victorian England.
The whole series is about PTSD.
I mean, pretty much.
What happens when you get fucked over? How do you respond to that? Yeah.
But, caveman.
Caveman style, yeah.
Counterrock says, I have Clone Wars Volume 1 and 2. They're a great bridge between Star Wars Episodes 2 and 3. And Linwood Sly says, Samurai Jack, my son watched that religiously. Yeah, so the same guy, I think, I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name. Gendy? Is it Gendy or Gendy? I think it's Gendy Tartakovsky, I think is his name. He was the guy that did that, and he also did this show called Primal, which was, like I said, 3 seasons. It was on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a Conan-like... It's set in the same world as
Your
Conan.
son has good taste. You should watch it. Because I haven't seen that series yet, but it's the same director, same writer, same artist, director. And we're like, yeah, his shit is fucking very good. See Primal. Linwood, you would love Primal. And I'm going to go back and see fucking Samurai Jack. It's supposed
I looked it up.
It's supposed to be epic.
The 5th season
Yeah.
is available for free on Pluto.
Uh-huh.
But the other seasons, I think you have to pay for.
I'll buy them on fucking DVD. I'll buy them on Blu-ray.
I mean, you can. But like I said, the 5th season, I found the 5th season for free.
I want Primal on Blu-ray.
Yeah, because I wouldn't mind watching that again, actually.
Yeah. I like to have a hard copy of everything that I really like. I'll have a hard copy of it. Just for the packaging and to say I own it. And I can watch it at any time. Because we get power outages here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I like having like all my old shit like Night Gallery and stuff like that
And-
on, so I can just watch shit if our Wi-Fi goes out.
Yeah. And they say the Clone Wars, they say that the animated Clone Wars is really good. He did that. And it's not the same one as the video version, the CG version. It's not that. It's a cartoon version of Clone Wars. They say it's really good. George Lucas loved it. He thought that guy should handle all Star Wars from there on out.
Sophie says, that's hilarious, gothing up the dive bar.
Yeah.
Giving them a taste of culture.
Fucking right.
I mean,
I put fucking...
considering the shit that they usually play in there, because
Uh.
I've been there myself a couple of times. I don't mind some classic rock. Like I said, the classic rock that they play is just it's so ubiquitous that it's like I don't even really hear it anymore. But it's just like when they play some of that new country and like, ugh.
I played Strawberry Switchblade's version of Jolene, and fucking Amy started laughing, and then
man, I wish they had
old
some.
fat boy was like, "Is this '80s Jolene?" He said, "Yeah, that's what
the '80s Jolene.
They don't want to fight me. They don't have no arms. They're just
Sisters of Mercy did Jolene also.
Yeah.
It is also very funny, but but in a different way.
Yeah.
I wish that I could get, because there was a tiny subset there was a time when somebody, I think it was a Reddit thread that started it, where they were like Jolene, but Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
So they rewrote the lyrics
Yeah.
so that Jolene was like an eldritch horror.
Yeah.
And they're great. Like, and like, it wasn't just one person, like everybody contributed. And then there was kind of like an agreed upon like set of lyrics. And so then like a bunch of YouTubers like that were musicians like did versions of it, and they're fantastic. Like I found this one that was like this girl, and she's just like this young woman, and like she with glasses, and she's just playing an acoustic guitar, and she has a beautiful, beautiful voice, and she does this fucking Lovecraft like eldritch horror version of Jolene, and it's amazing.
Yeah, Jolene morphs into this thing that if you see her, it sucks your soul.
Yeah, like, it's amazing. And I was just kind of like, oh my god. And it was like other people did it too, but hers was my favorite. And I was like, if I could get this on fucking Spotify. This a bit. I can just find it on YouTube though. Oh my god, it's so good. Like I put it on my fucking social media when I found it because I was like, where has this been all my life? You know what I mean? Because she has just a gorgeous, gorgeous voice, and she's just like sitting in her fucking room or whatever, like with a fucking acoustic guitar, and she's just has this beautiful voice, and she's just singing Jolene, but it's as if Jolene was a Lovecraftian creature, and the words are just great. Like she didn't come up with them. Like I said, it was kind of a group effort, but I was like, see, I love that kind of shit. I love that kind of shit. Where everybody on this, I think it was a Reddit thread. I think that's how it started. Because somebody had the idea. It's like, oh, Jolene, but she's like an eldritch horror, like from Lovecraft. And so everybody contributed like a line or two, and then they kind of cobbled together this version of it, like these lyrics. And so people started covering it. And like, and so there's several of them, but this girl's was the best one. And it was just so fucking funny. But yeah, Sister Marcy did Jolene as well. But yeah, I don't know, like the few times that I've gone to this biker bar, I don't think I would do that. You know what I mean? Just because I don't want people looking at me or whatever, but it's just kind of like the music they usually play in there is like so shitty that, which is one of the reasons I don't usually go. But I mean, and usually Tom goes there in the daytime, and there's usually not a fuck ton of people. I've heard there's more people there at night, obviously, but I wouldn't go there at nighttime. Just because I know what that area is like, and I was like, no thanks. But yeah, but he'll go in there, and you know they have the thing where you have an app on your phone, or he has his tablet, and you pay and you can run the jukebox. So he'll go in there and he'll sometimes send me messages like, oh, I'm playing this song or I'm playing that song or whatever. Because like even some of the people that work there like kind of get sick of hearing all that crappy country all the time. So sometimes if he goes in there and like plays 80s shit or like The Cure or something like that, like sometimes the bartender will be like, yeah, this is better. You know what I mean? So he'll go in there and do that. But sometimes he plays shit they like too. Like sometimes he'll play like Billy Idol or whatever. Counter says, Tom, have you considered dressing up as Mandro from The Hand?
Don't have to.
For Halloween. Well, like I said, Mandro was essentially Conan.
It was just Conan, yeah.
So, and he's going to do a barbarian, not necessarily Conan, but kind of along those lines.
Yeah, we're doing Hyborian. We're going to do Hyborian fucking... it depends on how the shit comes out. If I could... See, you can't beat Arnold. He set the standard for Conan. I'd have to really hit the sauce, and it would probably take me another fucking 5 years to get those proportions. And man, no, I ain't gonna do that. I'd just rather do another barbarian.
Yeah, just do a regular barbarian.
Yeah,
just
do barbarian.
What I'm gonna do, well, it's kind of nebulous at this stage.
Something kind of like Balin.
We're gonna do, yeah, like which if you read any of Robert E. Howard's stories, she was kind of like a pirate queen. He wrote a story called Queen of the Black Coast.
Yeah. Which that's going to be the guy who did Primal and Samurai Jack. His first Conan series is called Queen of the Black Coast.
Yeah, and it's about, she's like a pirate queen.
Yeah.
Kind of. She has a pirate ship.
She's a Shemite pirate.
Yeah.
And the Shemites were kind of like Arabians.
Yeah.
In Howard's world. And she's goth. Real pale, black hair. She didn't wear much clothes. And that was Conan's first love. He married her.
Yeah.
She gets killed though.
Like before, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
She gets killed though.
Like before Valeria, because I kind of
Yeah.
feel like everybody knows Valeria because that was
Yeah.
from the Conan movie.
Yeah.
But in the stories, like he met this pirate queen, and they were like simpatico, you know what I mean? So there was like that. She does get killed though. But so we've been looking at. There are some comics with her as a character, and there's no set look. Like he did describe her in the story.
Yeah.
But you know, each comics had their own interpretation of it, and so I'm kind of looking at that as kind of inspiration. I don't want her to look too piratey.
Yeah.
I kind of want to cross between like pirate barbarian. You know,
She looked like a sorceress, barbarian, pirate. She was pale with long black hair, topless, jewelry.
which like I can't do that. Obviously.
Yeah, I can't do that. She had 2 swords and something like a belt with like a mini skirt. And I think she wore kind of like strappy sandals. I'd have to go back and go look. I don't think she had shoes. She's not, and she had an entire crew of Kushites. Kushites were people from the fucking land of Kush. They were black. They were like Zulu warriors, kind of. That's kind of how because they're always talked about having spears and shields and being bald with kind of like mohawks and sandals and not wearing much clothes and furs and fucking zebra skins and leopard skins. Anybody who was kind of like an African warrior in a Robert E. Howard book was a Kushite, is what they called them.
Yeah, that was like the
He
world
wanted to
he
have
created.
everybody in the story. He wanted samurais and Vikings
Pirates.
and Zulus and pirates and knights and fucking Vikings and all that shit all in the same story. So, but you know, those people all existed at different times. So Hyboria was a reboot of history. So
Yeah, he
you could
just
have them
invented
all.
his own.
And you had dinosaurs too.
Yeah, and also there were dinosaurs.
They had dinosaurs. So
Because why not?
Yeah, why not? But they just called them dragons.
Yeah.
But when you describe the dragon, you go, that's a fucking dinosaur.
Well, that's kind of what's cool about like the
Yeah.
Primal cartoon
Yeah.
is that there's human beings of all different, and they're recognized because one of the things is they're clearly ancient Egyptians, but not quite.
Yeah.
But there are also dinosaurs, but there are also like evolved mammals,
Yeah.
like there are mammoths.
Then
and
there's
and
ape
elephants
men.
and shit, and ape men.
Yeah, there are 8 men. There are men.
So it's very clearly like a Robert E. Howard world.
Yeah, Robert E. Howard.
That was like all the times happening at once.
In Robert E. Howard's world, there were apes that had evolved into something kind of like men, and then there were men that devolved backwards into something kind of like apes.
Yeah.
Okay, so some people are going up and some people are going down, along the evolutionary.
Honestly,
fucking
I
path.
think still
Yeah.
out of all the episodes of Primal, I think my favorite one still was the one like I think it was called Rage of the Ape Men.
Yeah,
The one where him and Fang the
And then when they got
dinosaur when they got kidnapped and like
Yeah.
put in the
In
arena
the
like
arena
fighting
fight,
the ape
yeah.
men.
made him drink the black
That was
goop.
that was for real the goriest.
Mhm.
Because I was just like we were just like laughing at how fucking gory it
Yeah.
was. I was like, man, this is crazy. But
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
I
I
think
totally recommend Primal. Great
Yeah.
series.
the zombie dinosaurs one was great too.
Yeah.
I liked that one also.
Yeah.
Because some of them are kind of more horror adjacent.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Lovecraftian stuff in Primal because Robert E. Howard and Lovecraft were friends, so there's a lot of.
Yeah, there's some crossover.
There's a
Because
lot of
Robert E.
crossover.
Howard wrote in the Lovecraftian
Yeah.
mythos.
Anytime they're talking about magic and sorcery and shit, it starts
Gotta
going.
be.
It starts going Lovecraftian. Yeah, but yeah, fucking loved it. So he's coming out with a because I'm helping a channel called Sumerian Scholar, who he's a veteran guy from the army. We talk a lot, and he's showing me these songs. He's making some pretty cool songs. He plays his guitars. He can sing, and going through some of his music. He's young. He's like 27, 28, I think, and. We talk about Howard, Robert E. Howard, and Conan stuff, and he's giving me a shout on the show that fucking me and him talking actually has inspired most of his shows. He's been doing it for about a year, but a lot of his episodes have come out of things that we were talking about because we're kind of like minds, we're pretty similar, and I'm just older than him, and I'll point him in the right direction of what to read and what to look at, and he's not finished with Primal. I said, dude, he hadn't seen Primal. He hadn't finished it, man. Fucking. But I showed him another fucking great, and he's gonna do a show on it too. The name of the channel is called Sumerian Scholar, spelled with a C. Like cinnamon, Sumerian Scholar. And I showed him fucking High Plains Drifter because he likes westerns, and that blew him away. That fucking because the dude is back from hell. He's a revenant. A lot of people don't realize, or some people don't realize, if you watch High Plains Drifter, they're talking. That's the marshal back from hell. He'd been whipped to death in the middle of town. He comes back to fucking destroy the entire town. He's a revenant, and there's a revenant in Primal because Conan kills a Northman, which is like a Viking, and wipes out the whole town because he has to. They killed him. They attacked him. Fucking kills the whole fucking village. The dude's wife, and then his son escapes with them. They trying to hunt down fucking his name is Spear, the dude who's the star.
Yeah, they don't call him that in the show, but that's just like
he doesn't. He didn't have a name. He didn't speak. He can't even talk.
Yeah, he can't talk.
He's a savage, and he goes to hell, and the devil, and it's like the Norse devil, gives him the opportunity for vengeance and sends him back.
Yeah, like go back.
Yeah. And that's a wild episode where he fights a revenant back from hell. And many of the scenes in that cartoon are right out of High Plains Drifter. Where Clint Eastwood as the revenant is fucking whipping that dude to death and the flames are behind him. They redo that. And I fucking freeze framed that and showed it back to him and says, look, man. Because he had seen High Plains Drifter, and I says, he's a revenant right back from hell, just like out of High Plains. He goes, that's fucking Primal. Haven't gotten to that episode yet. This is, you're going to love it. Like, oh, I got to see that. So there's a lot of good storytelling in a lot of these directors. The directors that I like, they all tell similar stories and then intertwine their stories. That's the scene I like. Fucking Outlaw Josie Wales and fucking Pale Rider were also good. Some of the best fucking westerns.
Yeah, Counter Alex said High Plains Drifter is great. I got to see Clint Eastwood's Pale Rider.
Pale
and
Rider's
Varg
good.
says Pale Rider is awesome.
Pale Rider's
yeah,
good.
I mean
Similar.
probably High Plains Drifter is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean Pale Rider is good too. I'm not a big western person.
Unforgiven.
But yeah,
Really good.
yeah, Unforgiven. I think I saw that in the theater
Yeah.
actually. But yeah, that was fucking great. That was great too.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the most recent.
High Plains Drifter is the Crow, basically.
Yeah,
The
it's the
goth
same
version is the Crow.
It's the same kind of thing.
Same story.
One of the more recent, I guess the more recent westerns I like were Bone Tomahawk.
Good,
which is,
yeah. Cross.
Because a straight, I mean that's a horror movie, but
Yeah,
it's like
Cross.
it's a western for sure. Has that one scene at the end, which, if you've seen that movie, you will never forget that scene. I guarantee it. But yeah, it's really something. Also, I liked The Proposition, which Nick Cave wrote. Actually,
I didn't see that one.
that was
Did I see that one?
it was a western, but it was kind of Australian. You know what I mean? But super violent because Nick Cave wrote it, so it's super violent. But it was really good. So, but like I said, I'm not a big western person, but yeah, High Plains Drifter is like right up there. Probably my favorite western of all time, I would think. Because like I said, it's like supernatural. It's like a ghost story, kind of.
Yeah.
Like it's mythic. That's what's cool about it. Counterlog says The Wraith with Charlie Sheen is also like The Crow. You know, I don't remember if I saw that.
The Wraith was the one with the car, right?
Was
Dude
it?
had a car.
I feel like I saw it, but I don't really remember it.
Suit. I haven't seen that in a long time. The Wraith. I thought The Wraith was one. It was kind of like a Terminator and fucking Knight Rider.
No, that was what was the name of that one? I know what one you're talking about, but
it's not that. Not the same one.
That's not the same one.
Okay.
I'll think of it in a minute, but that's not the same one.
My favorite Western, I think, is High Plains Drifter.
Yeah, I mean mine too, probably.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat that, like I said,
Yeah.
because it's so mythic.
Yeah.
And I really just like the ghost story aspect of it.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, it's funny that you saw it when you were younger and you didn't realize. It's like because now it seems like really obvious, like when you watch it.
Man, my stepdad Bill seen it a million times. He didn't realize.
Really?
I said, you do
Maybe
realize
people aren't that bright.
I said, you do realize that that's
because that's like super obvious.
Don't you realize that's Marshall Duncan back from the
grave?
grave?
Like he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He came back from the grave. He was allowed to come back from hell
to take revenge.
To take revenge. First thing he does, he shows up in town, rapes a woman.
Yeah.
And then you find out, well, what was that all about? Well, there was a reason why that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about it, there was a reason. But like I said, he was the dead guy. Come back, he just didn't look the same.
Yeah, and a revenant is not
a ghost.
It's not a ghost.
Not a zombie.
It's physical. It's a physical re-manifestation of a demon, of a man, of a demonic man back from hell to get revenge on you.
Yeah. And then when that revenge is completed, they go back.
He goes back to the grave.
Because their mission is completed.
And that's what the crow was.
Yeah, same thing.
It's a revenant.
Yeah.
And it's not an angelic thing. It's from hell. Doesn't necessarily mean he's bad, though. He wasn't a bad guy.
He's just balancing the scales.
It was just payback.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
And he was just getting payback against the whole town because most of the town fucked him over.
They were cowards.
And the people that tried to help him or whatever like that, like he let those people go.
Yeah. What I liked about High Plains Drifter is that the sin of the town was cowardice.
Yeah. Because nobody stood up.
Nobody stood up for
that guy.
They let him be whipped to death, and they were
just kind of like, nobody said, "Hey, bro, what the fuck are you doing?" Or like, stop them.
Scared of getting hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, and he came back and like punished pretty much everybody.
And the best man in the town was a little midget. He was the only one that was
honorable,
and who was against it. That and the
him and the wife
of the other guy.
The innkeeper.
And he cucked him out, fucking stole his wife and broke him up. He just took the wife.
Well, I mean, he sucked anyway.
And he's like, okay, all right, you can have her. Which proved to her that she wasn't safe with him. He wouldn't stand up for her. Right. And he didn't force himself on her, though.
Yeah.
He was just going to go to sleep. He just did it to fuck him up, to fuck with that dude's mind.
Yeah.
Although he got it anyway. They made up.
Yeah.
That was just and then he made the dwarf the mayor and put him in charge.
Because he was the only
and they beat him up. But it's all right. He was the only one that survived, basically.
Well, wasn't he was like one of the only ones that stood up and said, "Hey, this isn't right. What you guys are doing."
And at the very end, fucking the revenant of Marshall Duncan's leaving town, and fucking his name was Mordecai. Mordecai's putting up Marshall Duncan's grave site, his headstone, and he goes, "Well, I guess I'm finished here." And he goes, "Yeah." You never did tell me your name. He goes, "You know my name."
He's like, "You know what my name is."
And he runs off, and it says Marshall Duncan.
And then it like kind of where he's like riding off on the horse and like
he rides off on the horse.
The gravestone is like in the foreground.
Yeah, it's in the foreground. It looks like he goes into the grave.
Yeah, they're like obviously.
Yeah. You know.
He's
my
like,
name.
You know what my name is.
Yeah, and he's like, "Huh?" And he was like, "I'm done here." Yeah. So he's leaving town. The town was destroyed. All the economy was wrecked.
He went back to the high plains?
Yeah, and he exposed the fact that the mine was on federal land, that they didn't have a right to it, so there was no income.
Yeah.
That was the end of the town. He demolished the town.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's a straight-up revenge, but a supernatural, like, revenge story.
Yeah, very good movie.
So it's a lot deeper than maybe people give it credit for.
Yeah, if you just look at the surface, you don't know what it is.
If you watch it today, like, to me, it's very obvious that that's what's going on, but maybe a lot of Westerns weren't like that. So maybe people that were used to watching Westerns like didn't really get all that. Because to me, it's not even subtext. It seems very overt.
People weren't ready for that kind of message in the early 80s.
Yeah, maybe not.
Now, Pale Rider was also like that, but I haven't totally pieced it together. He's a man that somehow survived death, but he's angelic. And I have to see that again.
Well, Pale Rider is death. right? I mean,
He's
like
one of the
that's biblical.
Yeah,
horsemen
one of the
shit.
riders of the apocalypse.
I mean, like I said,
But
it's
he
right,
had
it's right there in
buttholes
the
in
title.
him, and one of the mercenaries recognized him. I know you.
Yeah.
I thought we killed you. You died.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah. I have to go back and look at that again.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching Pale Rider and being like, yeah, obviously that dude is also kind of a revenant. It's kind of the same story,
right?
To be honest with you. Joe Saturn says, didn't he paint the town red and call it hell? Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. They didn't see that though.
He made them paint everything.
Them paint it red, and then the town,
all the buildings
on the sign he wrote hell. But the way they were standing on the other side. They didn't see that he painted that.
Well, didn't he tell them too that it's like we're doing that for the dudes that are coming back?
Yeah,
because weren't those guys?
They're
gonna
paint the town red.
Yeah, we're gonna paint the town red.
We're gonna have a
whole
party for him.
Back. We're having a party for him.
No, he turned it into hell.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
And as soon as the bad guys showed up, every one of those motherfuckers that he had up there in a fighting position, they all ran, all cowards.
Yeah,
they didn't fire off a single shot.
Like you said, that was their sin.
That was their sin. That was cowards.
He was punishing them,
for being a coward
because nobody stood up for the marshal.
Yeah, they didn't. Well, they wouldn't stand up for each other.
Yeah, when he got killed,
they wouldn't stand up for that woman when he says, "Come on, you're coming with me."
Yeah,
then nobody stood up for her. Walked off.
That's the whole point of the movie is that no one was standing up for anybody. Nobody was being like, "Hey, this isn't right," or "Hey, this is like." They were all just like letting shit happen.
Yep,
like terrible shit happened to other
That's
people.
why he destroyed the town.
And so he just was like, "Well, every single one of y'all,
they're all guilty."
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Now the people that didn't live there were in the hotel. He had them driven out. They said, "Where do you want them to go?" And he goes, "Out." Yeah, but where? Out. But these are your brothers. I said, "Well, they're your brothers. You take them into your house." Remember, the preacher wouldn't take it. You're going to paint the church red? He goes, especially the church.
Yeah. It really is a great movie.
Yeah.
It really is a great movie. But like I said, I don't think like the messaging is that subtle.
Not to our generation.
No.
Yeah.
But like I said, maybe for older people that were just used to watching regular
cut and dried shit,
maybe it wasn't as obvious. But like I said, to me, it's like super obvious.
Yeah, it's the same story as The Crow.
Yeah.
That ain't who you think it is. That's Marshall Duncan. And when you saw Marshall Duncan in the flashbacks, because he was dreaming about Marshall Duncan being whipped to death in the street, you see his face, and he does look a little bit like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, but it's clearly not the same guy.
Yeah.
But like...
And
they look enough alike that...
Yeah, and the only other dude that was fucking dreaming about that and having nightmares about it was Mordecai. Mordecai was having nightmares about that Sheriff Marshall Duncan being whipped to death in the streets, but he was powerless to do anything about it. He was little. Yeah. He couldn't do anything about it.
And everybody was against him.
Yeah, and everybody was against him anyway. So that's why, he got redemption. He lived, he survived it, and he enjoyed it. He was laughing.
Well,
he's smiling when all these dudes were getting their fucking just
rewards.
Yeah,
like Clint Eastwood kind of made him his like sidekick.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, they all did. They sucked.
Yeah,
all of them,
because Duncan was the Revenant was whipping that one dude to death, who whipped him to death, and they show the inside of the fucking saloon, and everybody's just horrified. Except Mordecai, he's sitting there with a big fucking grin on his face. Yeah, whip that bitch to death.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I remember what he did to the marshal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's not so funny when it's happening to you, is it?
Yeah. It's a great story. We said we shut it down, Jim. It's getting late, huh?
It is getting late. It's almost 11 o'clock. Wait, my shit says it's still 98 degrees. That can't be the case.
No, it's got to be hot out there.
I know, but I don't think it's that. Well, my thing also still says mostly sunny.
Yeah.
It's obviously not sunny now because it's almost 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but y'all, okay, so...
It's mostly moony.
Some more, if you haven't seen the Primal series, it's on HBO Max. You could probably buy it on DVD.
Yeah, you can probably get it. But if you have HBO Max, like, you can see it on there.
You could
like, all 3 seasons.
You could probably buy it on DVD or Blu-ray for the same price as renting it.
Yeah, worth it. I really like that a lot.
See that, and if you haven't seen fucking High Plains Drifter from early Clint Eastwood movie, oh, you gotta see that. That's a fucking film. Yeah,
that's a film with a capital.
Yeah, you might be able to see that free.
I'm sure it might be somewhere.
But you can get that on DVD for $6 easy. And that's a classic.
And like I said, I don't even really like westerns that much, and that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something everybody should see, even if you don't.
It's a
really-
supernatural gothic western.
Yeah, even if you don't like westerns. You know what I mean? Which I
Yeah.
usually don't. All right, so we are going to wrap it up for this evening. It's Friday night. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your Friday night, however much of it left that you have. And hopefully you guys have a good weekend. We are going to be back on Monday night for a movie review. Not sure what movie it is. We never know until like Sunday night, until we figure out what mood we're in. So I don't know what movie it's going to be, but we'll figure something out over the weekend. So yeah, have a good rest of your evening. You guys have a good weekend, and we will see you guys again for the movie review on Monday night. Good night.